All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live, and welcome to today's commentary for the NASCAR Cup Series Toyota Save Mart 350 at Sonoma. It is the last race on your local Fox affiliate this season, and then we will flip over to the second half of the year on the NBC side of things. It is a very fun season up to this point as far as predictions go, because I have been on a roll, so this is not a pre-race you will want to skip out on. And we will go through some maybe top betting advice for today, because I think there's some pretty solid picks out there. My predictions for who I think will run well, not run well, potential outside drivers, not drivers you would think of, particularly on a week-to-week basis, competing for a win or getting a strong top 10 finish. I think today there's a few drivers that have a very, very good capability of being able to do that. And of course, my win pick at the end of it all. Thanks for everybody tuning in on this Sunday afternoon. Thanks for everybody who came out late last night to watch the Xfinity Series race. It didn't start till 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but for today, it is a much earlier start time, obviously. But out west in Sonoma, second road course race of the season for the NASCAR Cup Series. Coming into today's race, we'll go through the point standings real quick and see who has been hot recently, who has not. Ryan Blaney comes in with the points lead. This is the second straight week he's led in points. He won the Coke 600 2 weeks ago, has a 13-point cushion over William Byron in second right now through the first 15 races. Once the checkered flag falls today, we will have just 10 races left in the regular season. We are currently sitting at quite a few different winners on the year. If I'm looking correctly real quick, we are sitting at 10 different drivers with the win, so still 6 drivers as of right now can lock themselves in on points. Of course, there is a good capability of getting a potential another new winner today with a lot of the drivers we have starting towards the front of the field, and we'll go through that obviously when we go through the starting lineup in about a half hour or so. But again, Blaney with a 13-point lead over Byron. Kevin Harvick, who is the highest in points right now without a win, is plus 166 points above the cutoff line. That is over 2 races, almost 3 races worth of points ahead of the cutoff line, so he's looking very comfortable. He is only 22 points behind Ryan Blaney for that regular season championship, and really outside of Blaney and Harvick, there aren't any other Fords inside the top 10 in points. Both the RFK Fords have kind of fallen off the last couple of weeks. Really, post All-Star break, they haven't done very well the last 2 races. Looking for a bounce-back performance today. Buescher did get a stage win in the 600, but he didn't get that great of a finish. Definitely wasn't as good during the nighttime portion of the race at the end versus the daytime in the first half to 3/4 of the race. But look for maybe one of those RFK Fords to perform very well later today. They ran very well, probably were the strongest Fords in last year's Sonoma race outside of Kevin Harvick, who I just mentioned is third in points. So those drivers could have maybe a good capability of getting an outside chance at a win today. The Toyotas look very, very strong coming into this race. Mart Jr. is the top Toyota in the point standings. He's only 23 points behind Blaney for the regular season championship. Christopher Bell, minus 40 right now, is 6th in the standings. And Denny Hamlin in the top 10, currently sitting in 8th, actually tied for 7th with Kyle Busch at minus 44 points back. All of those drivers locked in with wins, Truex, Bell, and Hamlin. So I think there's a good capability that they can really go off strategy, try to get that second win of the season here today. Tyler Reddick, top 10 in points, starting up towards the front of the field today. He is 84 points back, probably not looking like he is in contention to win the regular season championship, but I think he is a driver who can have a strong, solid run in today's race as well. And as we look closer to the cutoff line, at this point in the season, Daniel Suarez has the final playoff spot by just 6 points over Alex Bowman. Remember, Bowman missed 3 races due to a broken vertebrae in his lower back following a sprint car crash prior to the Kansas race earlier this season. So he only missed 3 races. He missed 4 weeks worth of racing, but because the All-Star race wasn't awarding any points, that's why Bowman had barely fallen outside of the top 16 despite missing 3 races. Very competitive start to the year. He hasn't really looked that great since coming back from injury, and doesn't seem to be that fast this weekend as well, so hopefully he can get that turned around quickly and get back to 100%, because you can kind of tell he maybe isn't feeling quite 100% behind the wheel up to this point. It did take Chase Elliott about 3-4 weeks to kind of slowly start to show consistent top 10 speed, so maybe that'll be the case for the 48 car as well. Ty Gibbs is on the outside looking in. He's got a great opportunity to capitalize on points here today. He's only minus 15 behind Daniel Suarez. Suarez wasn't that quick yesterday in practice and qualifying compared to last season when he won this race, and Ty Gibbs and really all the Toyotas outside of Bubba Wallace very fast this weekend. All had top 10 speed in practice and qualifying. I believe Gibbs starts 6th today. He could be a solid outside contender, maybe to compete for the win. Michael McDowell's another driver below the cutoff line who I think's got a great chance to win today's race. He starts in the 3rd place position. He had the 3rd fastest 5-lap average in practice yesterday, and overall was top 5 in practice as well. McDowell 35 points below the cutoff line. He finished 3rd at Sonoma last season. Another one of those Fords that ran well last year. And personally, coming into today's race, I think he's going to be the highest running Ford for most of this race today. The Penske Fords were a little bit off. Blaney, Logano, and Cindric did not look good in yesterday's on-track activity. Michael McDowell pretty solid. The SHR Fords weren't really there. They haven't been there most of the year, but even Kevin Harvick was kind of slumping compared to last year at Sonoma, where Harvick ran top 5 most of the race. The RFK Fords, Keselowski, not that great, and he's really not a good road course racer, so I was actually surprised he ran as well as he did in last year's race before a pit road penalty kind of sent him back in the field. Chris Buescher, though, has had a couple of strong runs on road courses with the next-gen car in the last calendar year. The Charlotte Roval, he had a strong competitive day, had a shot to win late, and then obviously finished 2nd at Sonoma last season. Qualified 7 today. He was 14th in practice. I think he'll be hovering right around the back half of the top 10. He is just on the inside of the cutoff line looking out. He's actually really plus 86, so he's not really looking out. But because he is 14th in the overall standings, because he doesn't have a win, that is where it gets tricky, especially if we do see somebody below the cutoff line to win today's race. The last driver I'm going to spotlight that is below the cutoff line that maybe has an outside chance at the win today is AJ Allmendinger. He's the furthest back of those drivers in points. He's 53 points behind the cutoff line, so it's not impossible that he can point his way in, especially if he has a solid points day through these 3 to 4 road course races we have coming up over the next month or two. We have today's race at Sonoma. We have the Chicago Street Course race on 4th of July weekend. Then got Indy Watkins Glen in July and early August. So there are opportunities for AJ to get some points, even if he doesn't win. I think this is going to be his best shot to win a race this season since COTA. Didn't run quite as strong at COTA as I would have expected him to do earlier this year, but he was great yesterday, not just in the Xfinity race, but when you look at the Cup car, the Call League as a whole was solid. Both him and Justin Haley were top 6 in practice. AJ qualified in the top 5 as well. He'll be starting 5th today, and I think he could have a solid run as well. So that's the point standings coming into the week. Now we'll get into my predictions, which I'm going to blow through pretty quickly because I did kind of spotlight the drivers that I do think will run well, but I'll go more in depth with that here in a moment. If you're not already in the Fantasy League, you can join on the NASCAR mobile app or website. It is free to tune in every week, have your chance to play, and if you win the regular season or playoff championship in our league, you will get 2 tickets to any NASCAR race if you're choosing the following season. Last year, we actually had somebody win the regular season and playoff championship, so he has 2 tickets. He was actually looking to go to Sonoma this weekend, but he ended up having to work, so unfortunately he couldn't go to the race. He is going to Vegas this year. I'm going to try to make it up to him. I'm not sure if you're in the chat. I know you said you work Sundays now, but Inside Uranus, if you are in the chat, extremely unfortunate circumstances for this week that you couldn't go to the race, but we will make sure that you get those tickets for either next year's Sonoma race or another race of your choosing before the end of the season as well. So I'll definitely get back with you on that one as soon as I can. As far as how to join the league, you can go to the quick link section on NASCAR's website. As you see right here on the screen, there will be a Fantasy Live tab. Click on it. There will be a sign in, sign out tab right here. I'm already signed in. Obviously, you can see my fantasy team for this week that's already set and ready to go. And you can join the league where it says league. You'll click on it. I'm obviously already in a league, so there you see it, KRC League. But if you're not in the league already, it'll ask what league you want to join. There will be kind of like the top leagues as far as how many people are in each league, and then ours is at 42 right now. So if it's not on the first screen, then you'll have to search for it, and I will put that in the chat real quick. KRC League in all caps, so KRC in all caps, then space capital L on league, And you might as well join because you have a chance to win the playoff championship. If you're just in the league when the playoffs start, then you're automatically qualified for our playoffs. So we'll just completely reset the points. We'll have a separate regular season and a separate playoff championship. Bobby Lemieux, Stephen Hooten, Joanne Cryer, Dark Crypto, Philip Moore, Harry T, Kyle Lance, Ethan Chua, Billy Kramer, Patrick Shadley, Mike George, Tyler Burbeck, and others. Welcome into the stream. Thanks for being the first in the chat waiting. We probably had some other people I haven't shouted out that were waiting before the start of the stream, but those are those quick shout outs. So now into those predictions I've been talking about since the start of the race. I have 3 don't have picks. These 3 drivers you should keep off of your fantasy team today, and I'll actually give some betting advice too on here that I saw on FanDuel and BetMGM earlier this morning. We're going to start off with points leader Ryan Blaney. Blaney did finish 6th at Sonoma last season, ran fairly well in this race. Again, the Fords kind of dominated last season's race, excluding Suarez, who ended up getting the win. The Fords don't look quite as fast this weekend outside of Michael McDowell, but in particular for Penske, all 3 cars were outside the top 20 in both practice and qualifying yesterday. Joey Logano looked the fastest of them. It was quite surprising to see Austin Cindric that far back on the board because he is probably one of the better road course racers in the NASCAR field, despite the fact this is only his 2nd season. He ran very well in every road course race last year. I think he had a top 5 finish at Sonoma. Last season he finished 5th, Blaney finished 6th, and I think Logano was like 10th. But none of those guys look fast this weekend. I don't know what happened. Blaney qualified 31st, so I would stay away from Ryan Blaney today. I know he's the points leader coming in, but stay away from him. Stay away from Joey Logano and stay away from Austin Cindric. It's pretty plain and simple for me this week, just based off of how they ran this weekend in particular. I know track conditions are a little bit different. It's slightly cooler than what it was last season. I think it was in the low to mid 80s in last year's race in Sonoma, California. And this year it is low 70s. I think 71 is the temperature, and it's cloudy. So maybe that has something to do with the Fords. Maybe not quite as quick in this year's Sonoma race. But I would stay away from particularly those 3 Fords: Blaney, Logano, Cindric. Now the betting advice I have for you guys is there's a couple of head-to-head bets on FanDuel and BetMGM that go against those drivers I just mentioned. I would stay away from the Logano one just because he was the quicker of the 3 and he did qualify in the back half of the 20. So if they get the right strategy call, especially because in my opinion he's got the best crew chief at Penske with Paul Wolfe. Of course, Wolfe won a championship with Logano last season, won a championship with Keselowski in 2012, so he's very experienced with that Penske organization. So I'd stay away from Logano. But Christopher Bell is facing Ryan Blaney this weekend on FanDuel. Minus 165 if you take Christopher Bell. Or no, it was minus 164. Minus 164 if you take Christopher Bell over Ryan Blaney. Bell starts in the top 10 today. I think he starts in 4th. And he was top 10 yesterday in practice. And like I mentioned, Ryan Blaney was outside the top 20 in practice, qualified 31st. It's gonna be a miracle if he even gets a top 10 today, and I think Christopher Bell might have an outside chance to win today's race. So strong bet there. Take Christopher Bell. Ty Gibbs faces Austin Cindric on BetMGM, and then also AJ Allmendinger faces Austin Cindric on FanDuel. Either one of those two, I think, against Cindric is a strong pick. Cindric starts outside the top 25 today, and he was, again, outside the top 20 in practice, too. You're just starting so deep in the field. It's hard to pass on the road courses and short tracks with the next-gen car, and we've seen that with this package. And because there's no stage cautions, particularly this year in the Cup Series for these road course races, we saw that at COTA where all the drivers that started up towards the front pretty much ran there the whole day. Reddick and Busch were top basically 3 the whole day, and those two dueled each other in those late race restarts, and Reddick ended up getting the win, and Kyle Busch finished 2nd. So I could see that happening again today. A lot of the Toyotas qualified pretty well, so I'm very high on the Toyotas for today's race in particular. There are a couple Chevys who I think can maybe have a shot to win this race with an outside chance if maybe mistakes are made on pit road by some of those Toyota teams that start in front of them, and then the one Ford of Michael McDowell as well. So again, I would stay away from the Penske Fords for fantasy, and I would definitely go against the Cindric 2 car and the 12 of Blaney in the head-to-head bets. Again, I know on FanDuel it was Bell against Blaney this week. I would take Bell, hammer it down. This is coming from a Ryan Blaney fan, so I just don't see any speed in those guys, and I've been hitting pretty good this year, so I definitely want to get more into those kind of like extra picks with these pre-races. So if you're not a betting person, by all means stay away from it if you don't feel comfortable with it. But if you are and you're looking for a late pick, I would take Bell over Blaney in a heartbeat there. I would also take, again, Gibbs, who starts 6th today, and Bell starts 4th. The Gibbs one was on BetMGM and then FanDuel for the other one, and those were minus 205 for Allmendinger and minus 165 for Gibbs over Cindric. So, yeah, stay away from those Penske Fords in today's race. It's going to be tough even for strategy for them to jump so many cars because there's not going to be any guaranteed cautions. This race could go 110 laps caution free, and if that happens, there's no way they're going to get inside the top 15 in my opinion. So yeah, I think those are some strong picks. To go into the sleeper picks for who I think will get a top 10 finish in today's race that you don't typically see running in the top 10 on most weeks, we'll start off with Michael McDowell. I already mentioned that he finished 3rd in last season's race. He's the only Ford that I feel really confident that could have a shot to win today's race. He actually starts 3rd in this race as well. He was 3rd at the end of stage 2 last year and still ended up finishing in the 3rd place position, which is very impressive when you consider the fact that there were stage cautions last season and obviously every year before in the stage racing era. So on the road courses would kind of flip the field quite a bit, where if you stayed out to get the stage points, you typically couldn't get back into the top 10. Well, Michael McDowell did, and he got a top 5 finish out of it. So I do think that he can have a strong run today with no stage cautions. I think he's going to keep his track position. He won't have to pass any cars, and that might up his opportunity to win. I think he was plus 1,500 to win today's race. I actually had a free bet, so I did put a little bit on him to win today's race, but nothing out of my own pocket just because I did like the plus 1,500 odds. I think he is going to have a top 10 finish at the very least, though. Top 10 finish at the very least. I think he's minus 125. It was minus 105 when I got him for a top 10 this morning, and then it went to minus 125 because more people are probably betting for him to get a top 10. But he starts 3rd. I think he'll pretty much run top 10 all day. Michael McDowell's a strong sleeper pick and a good garage pick for your fantasy team as well. Another good garage pick, I think, is another Ford, Chris Buescher. These are probably the 2 Fords that I would probably lean towards having in your fantasy team. I wouldn't have really any others. Maybe Kevin Harvick or Brad Keselowski as a garage driver, but I don't feel as confident with them. Chris Buescher had a solid run last year in this race. He finished 2nd. I mentioned he ran well at the Roval last year. Had a decent run at COTA earlier this season as well, despite not qualifying very well. This weekend he did qualify well. 7th place starting spot. I think he's going to hover around the back half of the top 10 today. Michael McDowell has an outside chance to win today's race, in my opinion. I wouldn't say the same for Chris Buescher. I think if he gets a top 5, that's kind of a win for that team today, just because there's really no other Fords that they have to compete against. They're going to be kind of in no man's land from a strategy standpoint in this race, not having any other of the same manufactured cars up there. And I just don't think he's got the same speed that McDowell has this weekend as well. I think he was like a full 2nd behind the pole sitter Denny Hamlin in qualifying yesterday, despite qualifying 7th. So, yeah, and he was 14th in practice too, so he wasn't as quick in practice. I think he'll be better on the short runs, but if we get into a long run, maybe that's where we see Buescher fall back a little bit. I'm still going to predict him to get a top 10 finish. I don't have any money on him doing it, but I think he's a solid fantasy pick for your garage today. The final sleeper pick this weekend is going to be A.J. Allmendinger. I mentioned briefly that he was minus 205 to beat Ty Gibbs for a head-to-head matchup on BetMGM. That one was on FanDuel, sorry. But not only that, AJ's got a really strong car this weekend. I think he'll run much better than he did at COTA earlier this year. He's got top 5 speed from the get-go this weekend. He ended up at top 5 in practice for both 5 and 10 lap averages. He was 2nd fastest overall in 5 lap averages, qualified 5th for today's race. I think AJ's going to be running, at the very least, he's going to be running 4th to 7th probably most of the day. And if he's in the right circumstances to maybe be within a couple seconds of the leaders during that final stop, he can pit early, maybe jump them, try to hang on. Finished 2nd in the Xfinity race yesterday, so he's one of those drivers that has a little bit extra track time this weekend, even though it's with a different car, just to fine-tune his line. I would look at A.J. Allmendinger as being a strong sleeper pick as well today and an outside chance for the win. The 3 must-have picks. These guys you should absolutely have in your fantasy lineups. No ifs, ands, or buts. All 3 are for the Toyota driving Toyotas for today's race. Denny Hamlin, the pole sitter, has finished no worse than 8th place in 6 of the last 7 Sonoma races. He starts on the pole today. Now, he's never won at Sonoma, so there is that going for him. I don't think he's going to win today's race. I just don't trust him in that era because he only has two top five finishes. Three top fives in the last 7 or 8 races here. And 2 of those top 5 finishes were on a different configuration because remember they ran with the extra carousel in 2019-2021. So he really only has one top 5 finish here in the last 7 races, and that was that second place finish he had back in 2016 to Tony Stewart. So I would probably lean towards Hamlin having a solid day. I think he's going to score quite a few points with no cautions during the stage breaks, and obviously starting on the pole with that being a short stage 1, he should have a shot to potentially win the first stage and get another playoff point as well. So I'm strong on Hamlin to get a top 10 finish in today's race. I don't think he's going to necessarily win of these must-have picks, but I do feel very confident that he'll have a good day. The other 2 Toyotas who I think will have more of a chance of winning today's race is going to be Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick. We'll start off with Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell did win a road course race last year at the Roval, so you got that going for him. Ran pretty well at COTA earlier this season. The Toyotas did struggle in last year's Sonoma race, so you can't really base last year's stats off of how they're running this year, but Bell was the best Toyota driver last season on the road courses, hands down. I think he's going to have a competitive day. He starts in the 4th place position. He was also top 10 in practice yesterday. On the longer runs, it seems like he is maybe a little bit better. I think he was 3rd fastest in 10-lap average, so that could fare well. I don't think we're going to see a lot of cautions in today's race. Personally, I could see this being anywhere between a 2 to 4 caution race, especially in the middle going. I think we could have quite a few long green flag runs around the end of stage 2 to early stage 3. So I'd go Christopher Bell to get a top 10 finish in today's race. Pretty strong day, I think, coming out of that 20 camp. Now my pick to win today's race is the final must-have pick as well. It's going to be Tyler Reddick. He has won 3 of the last 5 road course races. So Chase Elliott, we called him the road course king for a while, but honestly with this next-gen car, I'd have to lean more towards Christopher Bell. We've only had 7 road course races, or sorry, not Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick. Reddick has won 3 of the last 5 races on road courses. We've only had 7 road course races in the NASCAR Cup Series with the next-gen car. Reddick has finished in the top 8 in 6 of those 7 races, and I don't see him having a finish outside the top 8 here today. I think he's a guaranteed lock for a top 10. He is one of the favorites to win this race according to FanDuel. He is at plus 400 odds on both FanDuel and BetMGM. BetMGM has Larson as the favorite. I don't like Larson as much because he did qualify pretty poorly yesterday. He was fastest in practice by quite a wide margin. On the longer runs, didn't seem quite as quick. It didn't seem like his tires were holding up quite as well. On the shorter runs, though, Reddick had speed as well as on the long run. So I feel more confident Reddick starting second versus Larson. Larson only has 1 win with the next-gen car on the road course compared to Reddick's 3. That win came at Watkins Glen last year for Larson. I don't have Larson as a must-have pick, again, because he didn't qualify quite as well as these other Toyotas, that I feel a little bit more confident that they'll have a better finish. If there is a Chevy that can go to victory lane today, I would lean towards A.J. Allmendinger, personally, and then Larson and Elliott, just because Hendrick Motorsports has been that damn good this season, but I just don't feel as confident because of how poorly they both qualified compared to the Toyotas and even compared to like a Michael McDowell and A.J. Allmendinger. So Reddick is my pick to win today's race. Predicted 6 winners so far in the first 15 races. I predicted last week's winner taking Kyle Busch to win from the pole, and I think the winner will come from the front row this week and being Tyler Reddick. I also predicted Reddick to win at COTA this season too from the pole, so Reddick looks very fast once again. I think at the very least he's going to run probably top 3 or 4 all day, so he's probably going to be in contention to win. And because I don't think Hamlin has as many... I don't feel as confident with Hamlin, as I just mentioned, because he hasn't really led a lot of laps or finished top 5 a lot at Sonoma. Tyler Reddick, though, this is probably the road course that is more of an Achilles heel for him at RCR. This is his first race here in a Toyota with 2311, and he's 1 for 1 with this team on a road course already this season, so we'll see if he can go 2 for 2 as well. So that is all my fantasy/betting advice for today's race. And I think those are some strong picks for you guys. Just to clarify, once again, must-have picks: Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell. I think you have to have those guys on your fantasy team. No matter what, as far as the sleeper picks for today's race on your fantasy team, potential garage picks, AJ Allmendinger, Chris Buescher, Michael McDowell. In that specific order, I'd probably lean towards AJ and Michael McDowell more so than Chris Buescher, but I think Buescher has an outside chance at a top 10 finish still. But Michael McDowell, I think, could have a pretty strong day to say the least. So, yeah, interested to see what you guys think in the chat. If you like my predictions, maybe what are your predictions for this one? AJ Summers, Ron Duffney, Sport 6420, Earl Arnold Jr., Brett Whitesides, Jupiter, Regine Huddleston, thanks for tuning in as well. Best announcer ever. You're already putting me up there, man. I don't have the longevity Mike Joy has. I will say that much. Fox's signal's out? I think that might be just on your end. I've got the pre-race playing on my phone right now. It's muted, obviously, but I think they just did the grid walk right now. Drop of the green flag is scheduled for 3:50 Eastern Standard Time, so we still have like 20 more minutes, and we already went through all the predictions for the race today. Busch Brothers have always been the best at road courses. Not as much with Kurt. Kyle, pretty good. He's won here 3 times. Coming into the week, I was more high on Kyle Busch, but after seeing how strong the Toyotas were yesterday, and then Michael McDowell and AJ Allmendinger in particular were yesterday on top of how they ran here last year, I don't feel as confident about Kyle Busch. He was a lot better at COTA, finished second. I predicted him to have a solid run. I think it was going to be between him and Reddick to win last road course race at COTA. It was literally them 1-2 the whole race, but because Busch starts a lot further back in the field than what he did in that race, I think it's going to be a little bit tougher of an uphill climb for Kyle this weekend compared to what it was at COTA. Tyler Reddick's your pick. Yeah, he's my pick too. Pretty strong. You can vote for who you think will win today's race in the chat. We have a poll up, 40 votes already casted, and we're still about 20 minutes from the start of the race. 57% say somebody other than Allmendinger, Reddick, or Hamlin will win. I think a lot of people are probably picking Kyle Larson to win. He was fastest in practice, dominated the Xfinity race yesterday, winning the first 2 stages, led the most laps, even though he didn't win. I would probably lean towards him being one of the top 3 Chevys. He just starts too deep in the field for me, and we've seen time after time after time. Last year and the early going of this year, short tracks and road courses, it's so hard to pass, and that's why I don't pick anybody to win the race that starts like outside the top like 8 to 10 on these style of racetracks. And more often than not, I'm correct. So I would, yeah, that's the only reason I didn't have Busch in the must-haves this weekend, personally. And the same for Larson. Even though it wouldn't surprise me that they could have a good day. Larson probably more so than Busch, but in general, I think they could both have some pretty strong runs. Chase's in-car feed is messed up too. Maybe it's because the race hasn't started, taken down by Uploader. Well, if it's not NASCAR, then that could be one of the reasons. I know there's a lot of other YouTube channels, like, I don't know if they're like bot accounts or what's going on with that, and I've noticed it has taken away from some of the viewership this year, not by a lot. We're still getting great viewership on the channel this year, but for the Cup races, it's not quite as strong as last year, I've noticed. And Chase Elliott was out for a little while, so there's that. But there are some other streams that I've seen, like, you know, like this weekend, like the channel name will probably say like NASCAR Sonoma Live or something like that. Something of that nature. Toyota Save Mart 350 at Sonoma Live or something like that. And that'll be the channel name, and there'll be a stream name. And they'll have an actual feed of last year's race and not this year's race. It's really weird. But then there'll be like 2,000 people in the chat. And versus my concurrent viewers, there'll be like 300 to 500, which is still quite a bit, but I'm actually commentating this year's race, and they'll be showing coverage of last year's race. Or there'll be, you know, audio from the race, but there isn't any visual of where anybody is running. Or so, like, at least we have a live leaderboard that's up to date. And the commentary for that is so much more delayed than what this stream is. Like, that'll be like 20 laps behind or something like that. And this one will be right up to date. It's strange. But it's weird to me though that like that stream gets more people watching, and then the stream doesn't even get kept up, some of the time because they're showing like a race from last year or whatever. Like when I do the Throwback Thursday streams during the week, I have to show a race that's like 7 years older or older. Otherwise, it gets taken down. We saw that with one of them already this year. So I don't even know how they get away with airing like even half of last year's race, for instance, before it gets taken down. It's so weird. And they might not be making any money off of it. That could be some of it because you can tell they literally just started the channel like that week because the subscribers will be like really low. Like it'll be like 23 subscribers or something like that. But then there's like 2,000 people watching. And the stream probably doesn't get taken down because they're not making money off of it. If I had to guess, that's probably why. But it's weird to me too that a channel that new, like double, like quadruples in views compared to this that's been around for a couple years now. So yeah, it's weird. God Rides a Harley, thanks for tuning in. Those NASCAR bot links are scams. Already checked them out. Tried to charge me. Oh wow, they tried to charge you. Well, that's weird. I've seen spam accounts in the chat every now and then for races, and we just kind of get rid of those as quickly as we can. That's weird. It tried to charge you though. Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were bot accounts or not. I would imagine that they probably were, just because there's nobody like actually talking about the race. Like, it's not like this where I'm commentating the race or talking about the race coverage. It's really strange. First day is free. I had to charge $50 automatically. Oh, that's weird. I didn't know you had to. On YouTube though, or is it like somewhere random? Because I was talking specifically with YouTube. By the way, sorry I wasn't playing the national anthem. That's just finishing up right now. We were in the middle of having that conversation, and I kind of lost where we were with the pre-race, so apologize for that. Usually I try to air that out for you guys. We'll get to listen to some of the audio for today's race. Again, it's the last race on Fox for the season, and then remember there is an off week next year. Or next week, not next year. There probably will be an off week next year, but off week for next week. No live commentary streams are scheduled because there's no Truck, Xfinity, or Cup Series races. Patty Rundy Creations, thanks for tuning in. There's a guy who shows the race on his TV, but he puts MRN/PRN as the commentary. It's just weird. But is it even like synced? Like, is the audio up to date? Like, let's take a look real quick. And I don't like to give these channels publicity, because I think just not talking about them is a great thing. This is the first I've ever talked about them, too. But I've noticed them since the start of the year, and I never noticed them last season. So I'll just put, like, NASCAR Sonoma live. And I want to see what streams pop up first. We got Chase Elliott's in-car cam, which makes sense. That's NASCAR, too, so that's fine. There's this. See, NASCAR Sonoma Raceway Live. This is a channel I'm talking about. $3.1 thousand people are watching right now. There are 3.1 thousand people watching this stream right now. 3.6 thousand. And it'll probably get taken down. But that was this year's race, too, by the way. Because I literally just saw the... that was right after the national anthem, and that was probably like 3 minutes ago or so. So it's like 3 minutes behind. 278 subscribers. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, how does that... And it may get taken down. But I don't think that that's the only one. There's that one. There's a NASCAR 2023 live that has the same thing with 432 people watching. There's this one, which is the same thing, but only 8 people are watching that, which is weird. But yeah, there's like 3 accounts. I think they're bot accounts because the channel names literally change like every week. Unless it's the same channel and they just 154 subscribers. So yeah, I mean, like it doesn't make any sense. And hopefully I don't get copyrighted for that too, just for showing that. Like, that'd be stupid. That's where there's flaws in the YouTube copyright system. I appreciate everybody that is tuning in right now. I just wanted to share that. Because this is the only place that you can actually, listen to live commentary. It won't get copyrighted because I don't show the race. Because I can't. If I did, I'd get copyrighted for it. Now, I haven't tried, but I don't want to. I would love to show the race in the background with my commentary. Like, ideally, that would be perfect for me. So you guys could see it and listen to my commentary as the race is going on. Like, that would be the ultimate situation that I would be able to do. The problem is I guarantee my stream will get taken down. And there will be like new viewers in the chat on a week-to-week basis that will say something about it too. Kelly O'Neill, thanks for tuning in. Sit for Brains, welcome once again as well. Leave the banner on. Try to get you to go to their site. So that's what the banner's for then. So you're saying the more viewership, and that's probably why, because what I've noticed too, granted, I would say it's probably like this most weekends too, but I think those streams, like I mentioned, get taken down and they try to like put them back up again, like on a different YouTube channel. Like they create a channel and just like do the same thing. Don't have to worry about these streams going anywhere though. Ashton G, thanks for watching as well. But yeah, I just wanted to state that a channel that, subscriber base wise has like 5% of the subscribers I have, but has like, again, there was like 3.7 thousand people watching at once. It was live telecast of the race. I mean, I could probably like message something on YouTube or whatever, but I doubt that they're going to listen. It hurts actual content creators like me. And there's some other bot channels too that'll have like fake NASCAR news channels I've seen. I think Jet, MDK, for anybody that knows his YouTube channel, he's made a couple of videos, talking about that. There might be some other NASCAR YouTubers that have made comments about those bot accounts too. But it does stink that like they're making like fake news, like those channels, and I don't do any news stuff. Like I literally just do commentary for the races on the race weekends. But yeah, like this channel will get like, or not this channel, but those channels like NASCAR news channels like Eric East, whatever you would go to for NASCAR news on a weekly basis. There's like 3 or 4 really good channels for that. But those channels will get like half as many views as these channels that literally make fake news, and it'll be like an automated like bot voice or whatever that like goes through like random stuff, and those view counts will have like 200,000 views on a video that was uploaded 5 days ago about like something fake that like Kyle Larson did during the week or something, or like Denny Hamlin rats out like so and so on his podcast, and it's like that didn't happen. I listened to the podcast episode and he didn't even talk about that driver or whatever. Or like that's not what he said about like, Chase Elliott. Like it'll make it like something random about it. Like with the Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin situation, and Chase got suspended for a week, there will be like a video, and this didn't actually happen, but I'm just saying there would be like a random video like Denny Hamlin said he was going to wreck Chase Elliott the next race he comes back or something. Like, it'll literally be fake stuff like that. It's like that didn't happen. But then there will be like 200,000 people that watched it. And then you'll see the comment section and people will be like, I can't believe he said this or something. Like, it's like, he didn't say it. You guys are getting falsely informed. It's like, how is this happening? All right, enough on that. They've given the command now. We're here to watch some racing today. Thanks for everybody tuning in so far. I will get that raw feed up for you guys. Got the points up still right now. And we will go through that starting lineup for today's Toyota Save Mart 350. Sorry I was talking about that for a little bit. I usually try not to even like give any attention to that, but it's just something I've noticed throughout the whole season. And I think that was the first I've ever even said anything about it. It doesn't even look like the raw feed's working on NASCAR's website right now, which is not good. We were having issues with that very early in the season. The last couple months, though, it's been working pretty swiftly. The Xfinity race, I didn't have any problems with it, but it doesn't look like it's available yet on NASCAR's website. When it does become available, we will have that up for you guys. It'll have live lap times, scoring. Every lap it updates. So, scheduled distance today, 110 laps, 350 miles around this nearly 2-mile road course. Denny Hamlin is on the pole for today's race, looking for his first career win at Sonoma. His best finish second in 2016, runner-up. Tyler Reddick also on the front row. Has won 3 of the last 5 road course races in the NASCAR Cup Series and trying to go 2 for 2 on road courses in 2023. In row 2 will be Michael McDowell and Christopher Bell. McDowell with a top 5 finish a season ago at Sonoma, looking for another one today. And Christopher Bell, who won a road course last year on the Roval, has 1 win this year at Dirt Bristol, looking for his first asphalt win of 2023. AJ Allmendinger, Ty Gibbs will be in row 3. Both finished top 5 in the Xfinity Series race yesterday. Allmendinger finished 2nd. Gibbs finished 4th. Last season, A.J. Allmendinger, pretty solid at Sonoma, looking for another solid afternoon. Chris Buescher and Martin Truex Jr. will be in row number 4 for the start of this one. Truex, a former multi-time winner at Sonoma. He's won 3 races here. Chris Buescher finished runner-up last season. Daniel Suarez and Chase Elliott in row 5. Chase Elliott has never won at Sonoma despite being the most accomplished current Cup driver on road course races, and Daniel Suarez, the defending winner of this race. Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch will be in row number 6. Busch finished 2nd in the first road course race at COTA this season, and Austin Dillon looking for his first top 10 on a road course on the year. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Alex Bowman in row 7. Stenhouse impressed top 10 in practice yesterday. He's been top 10 on speed a lot of these last couple of weeks. We'll see if he can get that Chevrolet into another top 10 finish today. And Alex Bowman looking for his first top 10 finish since coming back from his vertebrae injury over the last couple of weeks. Ross Chastain and Kyle Larson will be in row number 8. Larson was fastest in practice yesterday, dominated the Xfinity race en route to a 3rd place finish, looking to dominate and potentially win this Cup race this afternoon. Joey Logano and Bubba Wallace will be back in row number 9. Wallace had a top 10 in the first road course race of the year at COTA, but he's starting much deeper in the field compared to his Toyota teammates today. He's got his work cut out for him. And Logano, the best Penske Ford yesterday in practice and qualifying, he'll start 17th. In row number 10 will be Corey LaJoie and Eric Almirola. Almirola won the Xfinity Series race yesterday. LaJoie back in the 7 car for Spire Motorsports after running the 9 for Chase Elliott's absence during a suspension last week for Hendrick Motorsports. Kevin Harvick and Ryan Preece will be in row number 6. Harvick had a top 5 in this race last season, and Ryan Preece looking for his first top 10 of the year. He's the only driver in the top 30 points without a top 10 so far this season. Justin Haley and Chase Briscoe will be back in row number 12. Haley was 6th fastest in practice, but didn't run as well in qualifying. Looking to start deep in the field and make his way forward today. Brad Keselowski, William Byron in row number 8. Surprisingly, deep in the field. Both have had top 10 speed in a lot of races this season, but they're going to have a slow start today. Ty Dillon and Eric Jones will be back in row 14. Row 15 will be Josh Bilicki and Zane Smith in the 38 car for Front Row Motorsports. Ryan Blaney on the inside of row 16 is the points leader starting outside the top 30. Again, the Penske cars missed it yesterday in practice and qualifying, so they've got their work cut out. And Gilliland in the 51 car for Rick Ware Racing. It'll be Andy Lally in the 15 car for Rick Ware Racing this week, road course ringer, with Austin Cindric to his outside. And in row 18 will be Grant Enfinger and Harrison Burton. Enfinger running the 42 car for Legacy Motor Club after Noah Gragson sustained a concussion in last week's crash at Gateway. So that is your 36 car field and the roundup for this one. They will be going green very, very soon. For late race, pre-race updates, here is the Fox booth. This week in the booth will be Mike Joy, Jamie McMurray, and Clint Boyer.
Daniel Suarez, last year's winner in a Chevrolet. Chase Elliott's back. He's a 7-time road course winner, but it's his first road course race of the season today. Let's dial up Daniel.
Hey, Daniel Suarez, it's Jamie Mack up in the Fox booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
All right, amigo, you won this race 1 year ago. Based on what you saw yesterday, practice and qualifying, do you think you got a car that can get it done again today?
Yep. Definitely we had to work on it very hard. Practice wasn't super easy for us, but my team never quit believing in me, and I never quit believing in them, and we made some good adjustments. We put the car in the right direction, and I feel like right now we are going to be in the hunt.
All right, buddy, well, good luck, and when you get over there to turn 3, give the Daniel's Amigos a wave when you go by, all right?
Yep, let's do it. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. You guys have fun.
All right, NASCAR fans, it's your last chance this year to win 10.
That was Daniel Suarez, interviewed from the Fox booth there on the parade laps. Jeff Sperry, also welcome into the Stream Easy E Network. Corey Freet, good afternoon to you too. 39 likes on the stream. Our goal today will be 150. We ended up hitting over 200 likes during last week's stream at Gateway. It was the second most liked NASCAR race of the season, only behind the Daytona 500. It tied with our Indy 500 the week before as well. So definitely hit that like button, and we'll see if we can get up to 150 again today.
His day. He had never seen this racetrack until Friday. Never even been in Northern California until Friday, and he goes out and qualifies 6. You keep your eye on that 54. He's pretty good at these road courses, Regan.
Jamie, Michael McDowell, somebody we always have to watch on the road courses. He finished 3rd in this race a year ago, qualified 3rd yesterday. Told me this race car better than that car 1 year ago. Keep an eye on him today. Right?
Thanks, Regan. The all-new Toyota Camry TRD, driven by WWE superstar Braun Strowman, is leading the field.
How does he fit in that thing?
And Noe Elizondo, Toyota's...
Well, there we go. The green flag is about to drop, and we are racing in Sonoma. Hamlin leads the field to the green and easily clear into turn 1 and up the carousel through turns 2 and 3. He's got a car length and a half difference as the field runs 2 by 2 behind him. Reddick on the inside lane is not going to be able to keep up with Christopher Bell through turns 4 and 5, and it does look like Bell might be able to complete the pass for second place. A little bump from behind by Reddick stalled him out after the 54 of Gibbs got into him. And that stalls Gibbs' run out, and he's got Martin Truex Jr. to his outside. A lot of Toyotas at the front of the field early. In fact, all of them in the top 5. 3 wide, down into turn 7. Stenhouse with the dive makes it stick, passes both Bubba Wallace and Daniel Suarez in the first lap, and Suarez is slow as they enter the S's. May have missed a shift or something mechanically is off there as he loses about 5 or 6 positions in the span of 2 turns. Denny Hamlin looking to lead the opening lap of the race ahead of his teammate Christopher Bell at the front of the field. And Tyler Reddick lost a spot off the start, is now sitting in 3rd. Truex did clear Gibbs a couple turns ago for 4th. Gibbs trying to get the spot back, instead throws a late block after A.J. Allmendinger had a run on him into turn 11. Michael McDowell on the outside of the 16 of Allmendinger. Can't hang on there. Hamlin leads lap 1 under green. And again, sorry there is no leaderboard for the time being. I'm constantly refreshing NASCAR's website here, but the raw feed is not available yet on their website. Once it does become available, you guys will get to see that. So I'll do my best job as possible to keep you updated on where everybody is running. But Hamlin out to the early start. Now, he was outside the top 10 in practice yesterday, but jumped up the leaderboard in qualifying quite substantially. made up about a 1.5 difference from his fastest lap in his practice session. He was 13th fastest overall in practice. So we'll see if he's actually going to be able to sustain good long-run speed. Our stage lengths today, 25 laps in Stage 1. Stage 2 will be 30 laps. Final stage, 55. The fuel window is 40 to 44 laps. And pit road speed is 40 miles per hour. Again, 110 laps is the scheduled distance, 219 miles, 350 kilometers. And we are in the very early going of this one, but we will see a lot of strategy play out as well. It'll be anywhere between really a 2 to 3 stop race, depending on how drivers are going to split it up and where the tire fall off will be. In the Xfinity race yesterday, we saw about 2 seconds of fall off after about a 17-lap period. We haven't seen as much fall off in the Cup Series races this season, but we have seen them on certain tracks. This track has not been repaved since the late 2000s, so quite a bit of wear and tear on this surface with multiple different motorsports racing here over the course of the year. Single file is the top 10 really right now as they're all getting organized. A lot of slipping and sliding going on in these hard 90-degree corners as they're making their way off of turn 4A through the chute into turn 7. Denny Hamlin still has a pretty nice gap over Christopher Bell. About 0.8 of a second is his lead. Tyler Reddick is in third place, 1.8 seconds back. Martin Truex Jr. fourth, 2.1 seconds off the lead. And Ty Gibbs is in fifth, 2.6 seconds behind his Toyota teammates. Again, Toyotas 1 through 5 at the front of the field. And the only two Toyotas that are not up in the top 10, or obviously in the top 5, would be Bubba Wallace. And actually, I think he's the only one. Yeah, never mind. He's the only one out there. But he isn't a good road course racer. I'm kind of surprised he actually did get a top 10 at COTA this season. A lot of it was the late race restarts we ended up seeing at the end. I think he qualified 18th. He's made up a few spots to 15th place, but I don't think we're going to see him competing quite as much as those other 5 drivers. NASCAR Vintage 17 Weather Expert Gaming, also welcome into the stream. Again, sorry for no live leaderboard for the time being. I'm sure the raw feed will be working eventually. It's just down for the start of this race. Again, 25 laps in the first stage. We're currently on circuit number 4 of 110 overall in the Toyota Save Mart 350. It is very difficult to pass on the road courses and short track in the NASCAR Cup Series with this next-gen car, both last season and this season. Lower horsepower compared to what we saw with the Gen 6 car, which was a 750 low downforce horsepower package for the 2020 through 2021 season. They used a high downforce 750 package back in 2019, and this is kind of what we're seeing. It's very similar to that, but with the wider tires with this next-gen car, I think it gives it a little bit more overall grip. With the lower horsepower, almost making these cars a little bit too stable. And with the rear diffuser, it almost makes it as if it's more of a dirty air pocket behind other cars as well. So the combination of all those things, it is very difficult. We'll probably see things get strung out quite a bit here on longer green flag runs. Again, my prediction pre-race was 2 to 4 cautions in today's race. I do think that we're going to see quite a lack of cautions. We only saw, I want to say, 2 cautions in the COTA race until the last 20 laps, then it turned into a wreck fest. But this track isn't as wide on the main stretch into turn 1, so I don't think we're going to see really any wrecks on restarts today, at least as repeatedly as we ended up seeing at COTA this season. And that was kind of similar to what we saw in the Xfinity race yesterday, which was 79 laps in distance. We only had 2 cautions. One for a wreck in turn 10 by the 45. That's Stephen Parsons, I think, driving that car yesterday. And then also the 8 car of Josh Berry stalled out in the S's right at the end of stage 1. And the longest green flag run of that race was about 37 laps in between cautions 1 and 2. Hamlin about a 10th quicker, it looked like, than Bell that last lap, just based off of the interval times. Your top 10 after lap 6, Denny Hamlin in the lead, Christopher Bell second, Tyler Reddick third, Martin Truex Jr. fourth, Ty Gibbs in 5th, Martin Truex Jr. Ty Gibbs in 5th. I mentioned Truex was in 4th. And I can't go through the full leaderboard after that because they are on a commercial break. Yeah, constantly refreshing. I can try backing out and going back into it, but I don't think that that's going to work for right now. We'll go NBC, NASCAR, Sonoma, live leaderboard. And we'll see if we can get something on their website. We've kind of used this as a backup plan. That's last year's race. So this will help us. It's a couple laps behind because it's only showing them on lap 4. They were on lap 6 at the commercial. It's all we've got for right now, and I think I have to keep refreshing it too for it to actually update. So we'll take a quick break here ourselves, and then we'll keep working on our leaderboard, and hopefully they'll come back from their commercial break on Fox in a matter of moments. Dale Campbell, thanks for tuning in. He's got Truex to win today's race. My pick was Tyler Reddick. I would not be surprised if a Toyota won. The only reason I didn't make a bet with Toyota winning as a manufacturer today, Chevy was the favorite, which I was surprised. I think it's just because there's not as many Toyotas in the field. And Chevy has been probably more dominant with this next-gen car than any other of the manufacturers, but on a week-to-week basis more so. I mean, outside of A.J. Allmendinger, I didn't see really any of the other Chevys have speed yesterday. Outside of Larson in practice, but he didn't qualify well. He's 13th. He's gained a couple spots from the start of the race, but it's tough to pass when things get strung out here. Chase Elliott's in 9th. He was 7th in practice, 10th qualifying, so he had top 10 speed. He's very good on road course races, which we obviously know. I just don't feel very confident about him either as far as competing for the win. Trying to look at who may be the biggest mover right now, and I think it's probably William Byron, who started 26. He's up to 21st. 5 spots picked up for him. Almirola, who won the Xfinity race yesterday, up 3 spots from 20th to 17th. And while we're waiting on our leaderboard to come back up, I'll play some of the Fox broadcast here in Stage 1.
Race on Friday to the inside of Bubba Wall. You talk about curb hopping. What has he got, a lift under that thing?
Well, it just shows you how rigid those cars are. See how that wheel didn't fall out of the wheel well whatsoever? Very rigid with these cars, and that's why you hear them talk about staying off these curbs. If you hit those curbs, it throws it for a loop. Look at yesterday. I think a big reason why you didn't see the number 9 of Chase Elliott more up closer to the front, hit that curb a little bit too hard and forward, cost him his lap.
The Toyota top performers.
It's easy to find, Mike.
Yeah, they're all in the top 5.
Yeah.
That's right.
As you watch, we ride into turn 11 right here. You see those tires on the inside. They'll slowly keep working those tires in because the grip is on that paint. NASCAR has the bottom of that marked, but those drivers all, with the door of the car, will keep working those tires in lap after lap.
Well, and remind you, it's on the blind side of your race car. When you're turning that right-handed corner, you're as close as you can to those tires because that's where the grip is on that paint. You put your right side tires on that paint, and it not only helps you turn, it helps with forward drive up off the corner. And I think that only gets better. It's like that's fresh paint, Jamie, and then as it starts to get rubber burnt into it, it's like adhesive and is super sticky.
And it's the same thing right here as we get down into turn 4. You watch the exit, you see the paint where that Toyota is painted all the red. As that black lays down, the grip level gets really high, but if you get beyond that, no grip.
Martin Truex is the biggest mover. He's come from 8th up to 3rd, and he is closing on Denny Hamlin and Christian Bell.
Doesn't surprise me. Always extremely fast out here.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys, you talk about managing the rear tires, protecting the rear tires. Martin Truex Jr., veteran, been around forever, won here 3 times. You mentioned he's as good at that as anybody.
Now, William Byron started way deep in the field, but he's picked up 6 spots. Regan.
That's right, Mike. He's been on the move early on. Crew Chief Rudy Fugo told me that yesterday they did not like this race car at all. He threw everything at this car overnight that they could based on the rules, swung for the fences. Well, so far it appears that he did pretty good with that swinging for the fences because that race car, according to William Byron, is good right now as he continues to move forward. Jamie?
Just an update on the 99 of Daniel Suarez after that miss shift. He went from 10th to 29th, and he thought maybe his engine was going south. Seems to be okay right now, and his crew chief Travis Mack said, all right, that just gives us an opportunity to be more aggressive on strategy. He's only made up 2 spots since then, Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. Denny Hamlin's lap times have fallen off almost 2 seconds from his fastest lap on lap 2, and Christopher Bell has caught him.
Yeah, and I've been watching Denny's lap times. It seemed like if he needed to, he could gap Christopher Bell out a little bit. But that last lap, he had a rough lap, and we get to lap 10, Clint. It makes me think about at some point in the run, your car slides, and you never get that grip back, and maybe Denny Hamlin's finally hit that point.
Well, it takes me to the exit of 7, right? Exit of 7's where you put the power down, the forward drive up off. That's where you spin the tires, if you will. But if you keep spinning those tires, then all of a sudden, through the S's, like we talked about earlier, you start getting laterally loose because you wore those rear tires out on the exit of 7.
I'm going to tell you, they got to watch those Truex. He is running those top 2 down. He was able to get by Reddick a few laps ago. You see right here riding with him, getting a good straight drive off of turn 11. He's catching both Bell and Denny Hamlin right now.
Tyler Reddick in 4th place. He's now 3.6 back. And right on his tail, Ty Gibbs. The rookie was quite a surprise here in round 1 of qualifying. Had a good enough lap. He didn't have to try again, as many others did, and advanced to the final round. Says he really enjoys road racing in this place in particular.
You heard that car bottom out on the rub blocks underneath the car when he went up and over that curb on 3A.
Then A.J. Allmendinger in 6th place, first of the Chevys, actually first of the non-Toyotas. Micah McDowell in yellow right behind him, the first Ford in the race.
Business is picking up right there with that whole group. I think that McDowell's starting to run them down a little bit, starting to stack them up a little bit. I think you're going to see some racing going on. McDowell, I think Buescher's extremely strong. Allmendinger there, Reddick in that group. And I'm really pumped about Ty Gibbs. I think he's doing a phenomenal job at this race, managing and learning from those teammates.
Suarez trying to take the spot back from Eric Jones at turn 7. This is for 26th. 11 laps complete. Denny Hamlin so far has led them all from the pole.
Commercial break right now. Hamlin from the pole, currently a race leader. Lap 12 as we're almost halfway through stage 1 already. In today's race, we'll take a quick rundown of the full field running order. Up to this point, Denny Hamlin, again, is your race leader. Christopher Bell is scored in 2nd, Martin Truex Jr. 3rd, Tyler Reddick 4th, and Ty Gibbs is in 5th. A.J. Allmendinger 6th, Michael McDowell 7th, Chris Buescher 8th, Chase Elliott 9th, and Kyle Busch is 10th. 11th place is Austin Dillon, Alex Bowman in 12th, 13th is Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 14th, and Joey Logano 15th. Eric Almirola up to 16th, Corey LaJoie 17th, Ross Chastain 18th, Ryan Preece 19th, and William Byron is in 20th. Bubba Wallace has fallen back to 21st, Chase Briscoe 22nd, Justin Haley stagnated in 23rd, Kevin Harvick 24th, and Eric Jones has fallen back to 25th. Brad Keselowski 26th, Daniel Suarez 27th, Dean Smith 28th, Josh Bilicki 29th, and Ty Dillon is 30th. 31st, Ty Gillen, Ryan Blaney 32nd, 33rd is Austin Dillon, Harrison Burt 34th, Andy Lally 35th, and Grant Enfinger rounds out the 36-car field here today. That was all according to lap 7, actually. And again, the raw feed is down on NASCAR's website as of right now. Try to get it back up. Nope, nothing. So, yeah, I mean, can't really do anything other than just refresh the page, back out, back into it every now and then, as I've been doing. It'll be up eventually. We've been through this situation a couple times before where it's not working, and then all of a sudden it starts working like midway through the race. But didn't have any issues for the Xfinity race yesterday. It's probably been a couple months since we've had this issue with the Cup race too. It seems like it's normally the Cup races that it is not working at all. It's just not existent. Host a NASCAR pool every week. Picked 2 cars, low score wins. Last week had the 11 and the 8. Oh, there you go. Yeah, finished first and second. That's great. Who do you have this week? Curious. Hopefully you have... do you get to pick, or is it just random? Like, is it just like a random draw, like on starting position, or? Because I know of like a couple, you know, like how some of those pools work. Like sometimes you pick like a number of whoever starts. Like you'll have like 23 and 6 or something like that, and whoever starts in those positions, who you have, or sometimes you can pick them. Sometimes you're stuck with them the whole season, whoever you pick. And they are back from the break.
Wide. And some great racing, like Martin Truex. Taking the low line on Christopher Bell to take second place.
Textbook pass, there's 7 right there, just like we talked about passing zone. He'd been hounding his teammate Christopher Bell for a while. But how about Gibbs? Unbelievable. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and Denny Hamlin was able to get away from Christopher Bell right before Truex got by him.
Watching for our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, powering the race from green to checkered flag and every mile in between. Goodyear, more driven.
You know, I mentioned Hamlin getting away, Clint. We're going to find out what he has right now, because I think he's been managing that lead with what he needed to with Christopher Bell. But Truex has been able to match his lap times, if not a little bit better. So we'll see if Hamlin can push that car just a little bit more.
I like one thing Christopher Bell did. He had Truex shadowing him for more than a full lap. But Bell chose the one point on the track to let Truex by where it wouldn't slow down either one of them.
To lose the least amount of time. Right. Yeah, that's so key. And they're teammates, right? So they are going to work a little bit better together. And they're also going to work better at the early stages of the race. When you get down to the final part of the race, maybe not so friendly.
I think you're going to see that gap in between Truex and Hamlin shrink very fast. Obviously slowed him up a little bit on that pass, not much, just like you said, very efficient pass when he passed his teammate Christopher Bell, but this Truex is here. He's got an extremely fast race car, could be his third.
The one thing that we see with all these guys in the front, all the Toyotas, they're not having to use the curbs to make the car turn. We talked about that you couldn't be so aggressive on the curbs. So the one thing that the drivers will do, especially right here in turn 7, you see Michael McDowell, Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, all those guys get up on that curb. It's to help that car rotate and get a straight drive on exit.
Well, you just said it. You rattled them all off, and I think a big reason you're seeing that, starting to see these guys getting held up a little bit. I think this 9 car, Chase Elliott, good on a long run. Starting to get really close on the back bumper. Look for some passes among these cars right here.
Talked to Chase Elliott this morning, and he told us that the reason you can't curb hop in the fast corners here is this car. Here comes Chase to the inside, looking at Buescher, going to close the door and get a little tap there at 35 miles an hour.
But that's the frustrating part about these passing zones. Now you got to wait all the way around to the next opportunity in 7 before you do that. You got to set that back up.
I love that you said that. That's exactly right. There's 2 key places to pass here, and if you can't get it done in turn 11, you spend the entire rest of this lap trying to set them up, as you say, to get back over to turn 7.
So I was saying, Chase told us in the fast corners, like say turn 2, where everybody used to really pop front end, pop wheelies with these cars just about. He says you need to stay off the curbs because this car is so dependent on keeping that rear diffuser close to the ground for its downforce. There's a bad one right there, the inside of 4.
That's the worst one. Over the years, you see all the cool shots of the cars way up in the air. That was all off of turn 4. Not the case anymore. See that? Christopher Buescher getting loose into the corner. That's what you're looking for when you got a guy in front of you starting to put the pressure on him. Now he's got to set him up for off of 10 into 11.
And Clint, as we look at Chase Elliott at the back of this pack, there's 4 or 5 cars all stacked up in front of him. It's going to be hard to pass. I'm immediately hoping that my crew chief is going to pit me just a lap or 2 earlier, because we know how much tire fall up there. Here's 2.5, 3 seconds at the end of the stage. Hopefully, I mean, I would even give the stage points if I'm Chase Elliott, knowing that I've got to win to get into the playoffs. Do what we have to do to win the race.
Still not going to get it done.
Just not close enough. Larry? Whoa, little
Mike, I talked about the strategy, and I think really talking to crew chiefs last night throughout the week, everybody's kind of thinking a 3-stop strategy, which would be somewhere around 28, 30 laps a run. But to Jamie's point, I think once we get to about lap 23, 24, right in there, if you're on back in the pack, you're going to try to leapfrog these guys by getting there a little early and taking advantage of those 4 fresh tires.
Brad Keselowski pitted out of 25th.
Well, and exactly what Larry said. No chance of him getting stage points. So go ahead and pit. Try to cycle ahead. It's hard to pass, but that's an easy way to pass, knowing how much faster you're going to run when you pull back out on fresh tires.
Interesting battle here. Cup rookie Ty Gibbs against veteran road racer Michael McDowell.
This is where you start separating, you start realizing what you have. This is where a balance becomes so important in your car. You can't be too tight. You can't be too loose. Starting to see Buescher sliding that rear end into the corner, hustling that car because he's feeling the pressure from behind him. This is where you really start struggling.
Every driver in the top 5 has won a road course race in the Cup Series. 12 combined.
8 laps to go in Stage 1 as of this point, and currently your top 10. Once we get a quick refresh here, we'll go through that. Maybe. Tell you what, I really wish NASCAR's raw feed was working. I'll check again. I don't think it is, though. Nope, nothing. I don't even have it at the top of the screen anymore, like I did. I'd say we're having some technical difficulties, but it's not on my end, so I can't really do anything about it. Raw feed on NASCAR's website isn't working. Jeez Louise. I can't even refresh NBC's website right now either. There we go. Okay, now we can go through the top 10 with 8 to go in the stage. Probably more like 7 now. But Denny Hamlin is still the leader from the pole. He had about a 2.7 second lead at the time of the commercial break. Martin Truex Jr. is in second after starting in 8th, so a pretty good jump for him. Christopher Bell is in 3rd. Tyler Reddick is 4th. AJ Allmendinger 5th. Ty Gibbs 6th. Michael McDowell 7th. Chris Buescher 8th. Chase Elliott 9th. And Kyle Larson is in 10th. So that is what we are looking at for right now. Up to this point. No stage points for Kyle Busch yet because he did hit pit road. He was right around 10th. Quite a few drivers were pitting right before that commercial break for fresher tires, trying to see if that is any bit of an advantage. Again, there's no raw feed working, so I can't tell what the fall off has been, but we saw about 17 laps worth, or 2 seconds of fall off during a 17 lap stretch in the Xfinity race yesterday. A much different tire, of course, with the Cup Series, with this being a much different race car. Tends to race better on road courses as far as total grip goes compared to most other tracks. No, raw feed's still not working. Lap number 19 right now. As we'll be coming up towards the end of stage 1 here pretty shortly. Be sure to hit the like button if you guys haven't done so already. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, and also vote for who you think will win today's race. Our spotlight drivers from the predictions. Pre-race, I did have 3 must-have picks. Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick all in the top 5, 1st, 3rd, and 4th. Picked Reddick to win the race today. Sleeper picks for potential top 10s, all in the top 10 still right now. AJ Allmendinger in 5th, Michael McDowell 7th, Chris Buescher is 8th. And the 3 don't have picks all outside the top 10 as I predicted. All the Penske cars, Joey Logano 14th, and then Ryan Blaney 28th. Austin Cindric 32nd. They are struggling.
Taking the spot from Tyler Reddick to break up that Toyota top 5. Pit stops have begun. Brad Keselowski in and out without losing a lap, but Ryan Blaney made his pit stop and was too fast exiting. He'll have to make a pass at pit road speed.
Well, that's going to hurt him.
Jamie Little.
Probably put him right down.
On Kyle Larson. Yesterday in practice, he looked to be the man to beat. He was on a mission, but he had a little hiccup in qualifying and started back in 16th. Well, he's made up 6 positions so far, and on the radio, he's asking his crew chief, Cliff Daniels, what the 11 and Denny Hamlin is doing, and his lap times. They're letting him know that Denny is not falling off much. He's really good on the long run, but you see, Larson now just turned the 2nd fastest lap so far.
Yeah, that last lap, Jamie, Larson was 0.2 quicker than the leader. Martin Truex has closed to within about 3.5 seconds of Denny Hamlin.
Hear how fast he grabbed that
He's
shit.
actually using the turn now. He's just more worried about getting off the corner and losing speed initially. What are you talking about? Turn 2? And actually gives up a little more speed entry to you, just focuses on getting off the corner. And he's not really using any curb in there either. Either. It's loose. I'll keep trying. Much better that time. I felt better.
Well, at least we agree, right?
Right. So I heard him short shift off to 7. Once these tires start wearing out, you can't put the throttle down. One of the aids is to go ahead and short shift that thing, keep those RPM low, keep the spinning the tires. Veteran move.
Kyle Busch, last week's winner at St. Louis, coming to pit road, and these are scheduled stops.
I would say it's one of the sketchiest pit roads to get onto because you come off the racetrack and you run that long curve, and pit road speed doesn't start until you get all the way around the corner.
A lot of juice through there.
Woo, it's scary.
4 laps to go to the end of stage 1. Denny Hamlin has been out front the whole way as we take you Fox side by side.
So 4 laps to go in stage 1 right now. Our raw feed is finally working on lap 21 of 110 here today. 86.96 miles per hour is the current average race speed as we are in the very early going. Denny Hamlin is a 3.9 second lead over Martin Truex Jr. Christopher Bell is in 3rd place. AJ Allmendinger up to 4th. Michael McDowell 5th. Tyler Reddick 6th. Ty Gibbs in 7th. 8th place is Chris Buescher. Chase Elliott 9th. Kyle Larson 10th. Alex Bowman 11th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 12th. Joey Logano in 13th. 14th is Austin Dillon. Eric Almirola 15th. Ryan Preece 16th, Ross Chastain 17th, William Byron 18th, Corey LaJoie 19th, Kevin Harvick in 20th, Chase Briscoe in 21st, Justin Haley 22nd, Bubba Wallace 23rd, Josh Bilicki 24th, and Kyle Busch is 25th. 26th is Eric Jones, Ty Dillon 27th, Ty Gillen 28th, Austin Cindric 29th, and Andy Lally is 30th. Grant Enfinger in 31st, Brad Keselowski 32nd, Daniel Suarez 33rd, 34th is Zane Smith, Harrison Burton, Ryan Blaney both a lap down at 35th and 36th. Blaney had a pit road speeding penalty. I believe Harrison Burton short pitted. He was in last, so he is probably just cycled first car lap down as a result. But Blaney had to hit that hit pit road that extra time after the speeding penalty, a pass-through penalty. He is the points leader coming into the day today, so it is crucial for Penske to have a good day. And so far, all 3 cars off, not just in the race today, but yesterday as well. They just completely missed the setup for this weekend. So quite a few drivers have been hitting pit road. That's why you've seen the running order shake up quite a bit here these last couple of laps. Kyle Larson is kind of one of the only drivers that has picked his way through the field over this longer green flag run to start the race today. He got up to 10th before he pitted, and then was in 16th at the start. So he's slowly getting forward through the field. And then Martin Truex Jr. started 8th, got the 2nd. He got the 4th initially off that restart. Really good, passing about 4 cars or so. But then he ended up losing a little bit of time to Denny Hamlin by the time he got up to 2nd place. Could have used his tires up a little bit. We'll see when everybody gets 4 fresh Goodyears on the race car at the front of the field if they'll be able to make up a little bit of that time back. Just saw Ryan Blaney blow past Christopher Bell in turn 11. That last lap, he's on much fresher tires already pitting, of course. Able to drive it in much deeper into those harder braking zones. One of 2 one of 2 passing zones on the track, turn 7 and turn 11. both in the second half of the lap. Allmendinger and McDowell on the rise right now. Reddick and Gibbs falling back just a little bit. They have made their way to the top 5. Pacing a little bit better. Again, A.J. Allmendinger, second fastest 5-lap average rather in practice yesterday. There were only 8 drivers that ran a 10-lap average, most of them Toyotas. Great pacing here for Denny Hamlin. Although these last couple of laps, Martin Truex Jr. has been much quicker than Denny. He was about half a second quicker that last lap. As we have 2 to go in the stage. He's cut the lead down to about 2.9 seconds as well. He was 3.9 seconds back with 4 laps to go in the stage. We're on the final lap of stage 1 as we speak. Running order all sorts of jumbled up. We've had quite a few drivers mid-pack just outside the top 10 already hit pit road. Most of the drivers inside the top 10, though, are staying out to try to get these stage points, as they will be awarded in less than half a lap now as Denny Hamlin makes his way through turn 7. Somebody who can't wait for the leaders to pit has probably got to be Harrison Burton and Ryan Blaney so they can get back on the lead lap, just in case a caution were to come out. Saw caution in the Xfinity race yesterday right as stage 1 ended. So those drivers who pitted just before the end of the stage benefited because they were able to cycle to the lead, at least for a short-term while before Larson initially took the lead, who had the fastest car in yesterday's race. Hamlin through turn 11, into the kink in turn 12, and to the start-finish line. He will win stage 1, and that will be, I believe, stage win number 4 for Denny Hamlin this season. Martin Truex Jr. will finish second in the stage, Christopher Bell third, A.J. Allmendinger fourth, Michael McDowell 5th, Tyler Reddick 6th, Chris Buescher 7th, Ty Gibbs 8th, Alex Bowman 9th, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will all get stage points here in this first stage of the race. And it is the 3rd stage win of the year for Denny Hamlin, not the 4th, so that's why I wanted to fact check that, because I wasn't entirely sure. But 3rd stage win of the year for Denny Hamlin. And we've got more pit stops.
He's running right now. It's over 3 seconds a lap. So Larson's pitted 3 laps earlier. He's going to make up 9 seconds on the leader. He was about 14 behind at the time, so he's going to be pretty close to Denny when they cycle through these stops.
25 laps caution-free in Sonoma.
Eric Almirola just hit pit road from barely inside the top 20. Eric Jones is now on his way in.
Eric Jones, Eric
Corey
Almirola,
LaJoie,
who won the Xfinity race yesterday, gets a stop. So does Ty Dillon. In and out for Justin Haley.
Martin Truex Jr.'s in.
On pit road. Now keep in mind,
Denny Hamlin's in also.
you see 11 on your track map and the 9 up here in 7.
Regan.
For 19 and Martin Truex getting a lot of details from the team as to where he's losing time. You heard him on the radio earlier. The car too loose right now, wants an adjustment for that. Jamie.
Denny Hamlin in the 11. That car was really good on the long run. That's what they expected to be the case today. A 4-tire stop here. Not much feedback from Denny Hamlin, who has dominated and led every lap so far today.
Allmendinger in as well. Takes about 45 seconds to go the length of pit road. At pit road speed. Yellow line entering turn 11 to yellow line exiting at turn 1. And Hamlin is away. 45 seconds.
And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be somewhere right in there. It's where they're going to come out. Keep an eye on that intervals with these guys on the pylon.
That group races their way off pit road and back into battle. Chase Elliott.
So Hamlin will remain as the race leader following pit stops. Chase Elliott did jump from just outside the top 10, short pitted about 5 to 6 laps ago, and now is 3.3, actually more like 6 seconds. 6 seconds off the race lead, but he is up to 3rd. So Chase Elliott's jumped the leaderboard quite a bit. Kyle Larson pitted same lap as Elliott, and he is now in 4th. Again, all following green flag pit stops at lap 26, where all of the top 10 came in at once after staying out to get their stage points. So it did cost them a little bit of time, and that'll be interesting when we get towards the end of stage 2, if the race leaders will maybe end up hitting pit road pretty early once again. It's been very difficult to pass, so maybe pit strategy the best way to be able to do that today. Full screen commercial break during the stage 1 break. We'll take a quick one ourselves. You're listening live. KRC for the Toyota Save Mart 350 at Sonoma. Tom's Banana Cakes. Dale, thanks for tuning in. No caution so far. Mike George, welcome back. Surprised I could find a helmet for Denny's big head. Man. Yeah, he's out there, though. Trying to get his first win at Sonoma. Joe Gibbs Racing's dominated this track from the late 2010s onward. Up until they had that break at this track where they did not race in 2020 during the COVID season. And then 2021 they had the carousel. Kyle Larson and his dominant 10-win season won here. And last season, the first year with the next-gen car back on the older NASCAR version of the layout at Sonoma, we ended up seeing Daniel Suarez win for Chevy as well. Spotlight drivers so far after the cycle of green flag pit stops. Our must-have picks of Denny Hamlin is in the race lead. Tyler Reddick in 9th. And what am I missing here? Christopher Bell in 4th. I missed him, my bad. So they're all in the top 10 still. Reddick was my pick to win. Sleeper picks all still in the top 10 as well. AJ Allmendinger 7th, Michael McDowell 8th, and Chris Buescher in 10th. Don't have picks all outside the top 10. Joey Logano in 12th, Ryan Blaney 29th, and Harrison Burton 30th. And I'm surprised Blaney's honestly in 29th because that was about where he was running prior to his pit road penalty. I'm pretty sure he was in 28th when he pitted the first time. Shows you how much time he was able to gain on fresher tires because he was one of the first cars to pit road. Probably could have jumped him into the top 20, but instead put himself a little further back, just past Josh Bilicki for 27th on track as well. Harrison Burton right there with him still. Austin Cindric, though, on the other hand, not with him, and he is still not running particularly well.
Take a look at today's Credit One Bank ones to watch. Who are you watching, Clint?
Got one for you. Chase Elliott's my guy. I'm telling you, started 10th, was fast yesterday, struggled a little bit in turn 4, cost him some speed, but they closed the gap. Already running 3rd, Chase Elliott.
Yeah, I'm going to look at Martin Truex Jr. Started back in 8th, has worked his way up to 2nd. He made that adjustment on the last pit stop. I think he can get by Denny Hamlin, and he's won here 3 times before.
True. Denny Hamlin is looking for a championship, and the way to win that is win them all. He won the pole. That was a bit of a surprise yesterday, and he has not been passed on the racetrack yet. Larry in trouble.
Yeah, Mike, I've got my eye on AJ Allmendinger. Qualified 5th, finished 4th that stage. He seems to have good long-run speed, and even with 11 races left to go in the regular season, he's almost already in a must-win situation.
Yeah, I've got to take another road course veteran in Michael McDowell. I have not seen him slip that 34 car yet. Said he was going to run a 90%, take care of it all day. So far, he's doing that, and he got stage points in that first stage.
And they are our Credit One Bank ones to watch. After 29 laps and after pit stops, Hamlin and Truex got out in front of Elliott.
So there's a quick update on some of their spotlight drivers as we just went through ours moments ago. The intervals as far as the green flag pit stops go through the top 10. Denny Hamlin has just an 0.8 of a second lead over Martin Truex Jr. Truex has kind of ran him down. Following pit stops, he was still 2 seconds back, but Truex faster on track by 0.3 of a second that last lap. Chase Elliott in 3rd place, not quite as quick as them on slightly older tires, is 6 seconds off the lead still. Christopher Bell has caught him. He's 6.4 seconds off the lead in 4th. Just passed Larson a couple laps ago during the commercial break. Larson is 8 seconds off the lead in 5th. AJ Allmendinger is 10 seconds off the lead in 6th. Kyle Busch, he's short pitted. He went from 10th to 6th. All right, we're back. Don't worry, my laptop did not crash this time. My internet just like randomly stopped. It was lagging, and then I had to reset the router because it was not wanting to connect. We missed a pass for the lead, which is unfortunate. I knew it wasn't my laptop this time because my phone had also frozen, which is where I'm watching the race. They're on a full screen commercial break right now. Martin Truex Jr. has taken the race lead away from Denny Hamlin. So, yeah, I apologize for that. I was trying to get to you guys in the chat, too, but I had zero internet connection. So I wasn't able to actually tell you guys that it would take me a couple moments. We had over 100 people watching, and now we don't. So that is, that's unfortunate. Hopefully we get those people back here shortly. Two Dogs, Irene Sayre, thanks for tuning in. Frank Powers, welcome back. Sarah Isaac, thanks for tuning in as well. Delbert Wilson, welcome back into the stream. And we're at 62 likes. KG, thanks for watching as well. My favorite driver is Ryan Blaney. Not looking too good today. So again, fantasy locks at the end of stage 2, which is at lap 55. And we are still about 20 laps away from the end of stage 2. No caution so far. And again, Martin Truex Jr. has consumed the race lead following racing by Denny Hamlin. After green flag pit stop cycled through, he was 2 seconds off the lead, but was able to capitalize. He's running faster than the 11. At last lap, Denny Hamlin was about 0.8 slower than Truex. Hamlin is struggling. Maybe they went the wrong way with an adjustment, because even Christopher Bell was 0.3 quicker than Hamlin that last lap. Denny's still quicker, though, than Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson. He does have slightly fresher tires, which will probably help that a little bit, because Allmendinger and McDowell were actually faster, and McDowell had the fastest lap of anybody that last lap inside the top 10. He was even faster than race leader Martin Truex Jr., so look out for Michael if he can get up in contention.
Thanks, Larry. We'll check with Jamie Little.
An update on Kyle Larson running fifth right now. Cliff Daniels told him they're going to run 6 or 7 laps longer this time out, so about 28 to 29 laps. He also told him that he's faster than Chase Elliott and Christopher Bell ahead of him. He said you can get him through turns 2 through 7. So a lot of information coming off the pit box, but he sounds very pleased with the effort so far.
So, Mike, let's talk about Elliott and Larson. They short pitted, right? 4 laps earlier than really anybody in the top 10. And they have cycled to the front. Now, their lap times aren't as good right now. They're struggling just a little bit in relation to those cars, but they gained what they wanted. They need the caution stuff all right. They're going to have to run a little bit longer this time, but Larson had a really good car in the long run. We know Chase Elliott did too. So they used a little bit of strategy there. They've got their track position now, and they're going to try to maintain it.
They gained the positions. Obviously, track position, and you're right, they're going to struggle with holding on to that track position at the back of it, but they gained.
And AJ Allmendinger is right there with Larson and Elliott as well. Elliott has lost 2 seconds from the race lead over the last couple of laps. Christopher Bell got the third, passing Elliott during that last commercial break. Somebody mentioned something in the chat about if I accept donations, because I never ask. I don't ask for donations, but you can super chat on the stream. I don't have any outside accounts on other websites where you guys can fund me during the month or whatever. Not as of right now, at least. I do want to work on just kind of growing this first, because I'm not doing this full time. I mean, I'm doing it full time in the sense that I'm commentating every race weekend, but I still have a job during the week. This this isn't enough to pay the bills. But yeah, you can leave super chats if you do want to help support the channel. Allow me to be able to do this more. Internet keeps doing that. I have to replace the cables on the router. It hasn't done that since I moved in. It was just really weird. That's the first time it's happened to me. And this is our 4th live commentary stream here. All-Star Race weekend. Coke 600 last week at Gateway, and then this week. So yeah, it's the fourth weekend of live commentary coverage, and that was the first that ever just completely turned off there for a second. I think it maybe, I don't know if it's raining yet or not, but I know there's rain in the area, so I don't know if that maybe affected it at all. About halfway through stage 2 right now, as Truex has about a 1.2 second lead over Hamlin. He grew it out to about 1.8 seconds. Hamlin picked up the last couple laps, so maybe Truex was pushing a little harder early in the run to try to catch Denny. 3 laps in a row now, Hamlin's been about 0.2 quicker than the 19 of Truex. And they are separating themselves from the rest of the field, even their Toyota counterparts. Under a full screen commercial break in stage 2 as of right now. Again, your top 10. Martin Truex Jr. leads. Denny Hamlin in second place is 1.2 seconds off the lead. Christopher Bell is in third, 7.1 seconds back. Chase Elliott is in fourth, 8.4 seconds back. Kyle Larson's 9.1 seconds back in fifth. AJ Allmendinger in sixth place is 9.6 seconds off the lead. Michael McDowell 12.7 seconds off the lead in seventh. Chris Buescher in 8th place is 14.8 seconds off the lead, which is pretty much maintained since the green flag stops. Tyler Reddick in 9th place is 16.7 seconds back, and Ty Gibbs is in 10th place, 19.4 seconds back. And actually, Buescher's gained a couple spots because Gibbs and Reddick were ahead of him after the green flag pit stops. Reddick and Busch were ahead of him, and he's passed them both. Busch is now falling outside of the top 10. Remember, he's short-pitted. Gained a slight bit of track position from 10th to 7th, but it seems to be hurting him on the longer runs because now he's no longer in the top 10. And Buescher, one of the last cars to pit, is able to take over a couple of those Toyota drivers who have fallen off a bit, because at the start of the race, it was Toyotas 1 through 5. Now it's just 1 through 3, and specifically it's just the JGR Toyotas and the typical ones of the 19, 11, and the 20 that are up there. And they've got the Hendrick Brigade of Elliott and Larson, followed by Allmendinger just closely behind. So spotlight drivers and where they're running here, middle of the race as well. The must-have picks, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick all in the top 10 as mentioned. Reddick in 9th, Hamlin 2nd, Bell 3rd. Sleeper picks all in the top 10 as well. 6th, 7th, and 8th of AJ Allmendinger, Michael McDowell, Chris Buescher. And the 3 don't-haves of Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, and Austin Cindric outside the top 10. It was very low on Penske today, and I'm a Team Penske Ryan Blaney fan, but I knew that they didn't have speed this weekend based off of yesterday's track activity alone. They ran very well last year at Sonoma and on the road courses in general, especially the 12 and the 2, but not this week for some reason. And they were fast at Coda this year, so I don't know why they were off today at Sonoma specifically. Hopefully that doesn't continue because we got quite a few road races coming up this month, and obviously that is not good for Blaney because he is the regular season points leader coming in. He was 13 points above William Byron. The good news is William Byron's 15th, and he didn't get any stage points in stage 1 either. So Blaney hasn't really lost points to Byron so far today, though Martin Truex Jr., who's just over 20 points back, as well as Christopher Bell, just over 20 points back in the standings in the top 5. They are in the top 3 all day today. Truex finished 2nd in the last stage, Bell 3rd. Bell's still in 3rd, and Truex now leads. Hamlin again slightly quicker. He's cut the lead down to 1 second, even at the start-finish line now behind Truex. Oh, by the way, those Penske cars, Logano in 13th, Blaney is 31st, and Austin Cindric is still outside the top 30 as well, as he is in 34th, and is the last car in the lead lap. Only cars a lap down are Andy Lally and Enfinger. All 36 cars still on the racetrack. No unchartered entries for this race weekend. So all the 36 chartered cars building up to the field. And no lap traffic up to this point, despite a very long green flag run. It looks like Brad Keselowski just short pitted once again. So he has made his second stop. And as he makes his way off of pit road, he is going to be able to maintain speed behind Cindric at the tail end of the lead lap. And because he's on fresher tires, he should be able to hold on. Just kind of hoping that we get a caution that brings everybody else in. He can flip the field and get back up towards the front. He was running right around 20th at the time of his stop. And Hamlin's starting to slip back a little bit again. He was running quicker laps than Truex, but now all of a sudden Truex has stepped back on it. And he went from about a 9/10 of a second lead up to 1.7 seconds over the last couple of laps. Still 14 to go yet in stage 2.
Truex is a little bit better on the short run, really short run. Denny's better in the middle of the stage, and then Truex again is better towards the end of that. And I think those guys, and I said it at the very beginning, they're pacing themselves. Truex could probably go a little bit harder at the beginning, but you're just trying to conserve tires because there is so much fall off here. And Mike, as they catch lap traffic, you need more tire because you have to put your car in a different position. We saw how hard it was for both those guys to get by the lap cars earlier.
I'm watching this knot of cars, 4 cars here, 3rd through 7th, and Michael McDowell trying to run them down, the first Ford in the race. But these 4 have kept pretty close company. Here goes McDowell. He's going to be there in a minute.
Goes back to what you were saying.
Yeah, it's a good point. Christopher Bell has fallen off a little bit because even though he's still in 3rd, he's 10 seconds off the lead now. He was 6 seconds off the lead not that long ago. And that last lap, he was a full second slower than Chase Elliott. So I don't know if he had a hiccup in one specific corner, but definitely not good for Christopher Bell. He was the slowest of anybody on that last lap outside the, or inside the top 20. In fact, the only one that I see slower than him that last lap was Harrison Burton. He's back in 32nd. Must have just had like a wheel hop or something of that nature getting into one of the harsher corners. AJ Allmendinger still battling with Kyle Larson. Probably the closest of those cars next to each other in that group from 3rd back through 7th. Fastest laps on the racetrack. Martin Truex Jr. ran the fastest that last lap. Again, he is the leader. 80.9. Fastest lap of the day is a 78.9. So we are seeing quite a bit of fall off. The Xfinity Series cars were running about 2 seconds slower a lap at their fastest laps. So these Cup cars a lot quicker at Sonoma. Which is quite surprising when you consider the fact that they have less horsepower than in years past. And there's still the same amount of fall off pretty much that we saw in the Xfinity race yesterday into the Cup race today. And that's why we saw the Hendrick cars of Elliott and Larson gain so many positions with their stops on pit road as they jumped from about 11th and 12th in the 10th and 11th in the running order up to 3rd and 4th initially. But now they're back to 11 seconds off the lead because we didn't get a caution to bunch the field back together. But they're still in the top 5. Kyle Busch is back on pit road, as he'll be short pitting again. He was one of the first cars to pit road the last time. A lot of these teams looking at a 3-stop strategy today. For fuel purposes, we could have seen drivers try to take it on 2 stops, but with them all pitting right around lap 25, that pretty much threw that strategy out the window. I think there's just too much tire fall off to try to risk going for a 2-stop race, even though you can make it on fuel. It's just too much fall off. You're going to lose way too much time anyway trying to do that. But Truex and Hamlin just continue to have a stranglehold in the field as long as this stays green. Full screen commercial break right now on Fox. We will take a quick break ourselves here in Stage 2. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We are up to 68 likes on the stream. And our goal was 150. We did have a little bit of a lag issue there. Lost some of our viewers. Hopefully you guys have come back, and those that haven't yet come back shortly. It was literally only for I thought it was only a couple minutes. We did miss a pass for the lead, unfortunately, but the only one of the day so far. I don't know about Blaney making a comeback. I don't feel confident in it. He's my favorite driver and all, but I try to keep all my thoughts unbiased, and Penske just doesn't have speed. Logano might have an outside chance at a top 10. He's kind of worked his way through the field a little bit. I think he was like 12th or 13th beginning of Stage 2. He did short pick quite a bit, so he might have lost some position. Yeah, he's back at 21st now. I was going to say he's lost some position since then. And he might be on pit road again. Really don't know for sure because they're under commercial. Martin Truex Jr. had a pretty bad last lap. I don't know if he already pitted, but he is 1.1 seconds ahead of Denny Hamlin now. It was about a 2-second lead just a few laps ago. So kind of fluctuating back and forth, and he hasn't gotten into lap traffic yet, so dirty air can't be slowing him down. Unless he's in dirty air from cars coming out of pit road. that have already made their second stop. I guess that could be possible. There's many cars that have pit outside the top 10 already. Quite a few of them, really. Now, Busch in 20th, really on back of most of those cars have hit pit road. Smokey in the pot, thanks for tuning in. Time to DoorDash thinking Arby's. I haven't had Arby's in a really long time. Can't go wrong with the roast beef cheddar sandwich. Curly fries with the cheese cup. Now you're getting me hungry. Got a Starbucks breakfast sandwich that I haven't eaten yet that I should have. I had time to eat it and I setting up the stream. I could have multitasked and I didn't. Lead down to 9/10 of a second between Truex and Hamlin. 9 to go, stage 2.
And Hamlin had closed it up to about 0.6 of a second, and then Truex pulled away. Larry, what are we looking at for pit stops as we go forward here?
Yeah, honestly, we've completed 46 laps. To make this thing work on 3 stops, you're probably looking at about 48 to 50, about 2 to 4 laps from now. But who's here to try to win a stage? You have to go to lap 55 to make that happen. But I think we're getting to the point of the race, the way this race looks, you better start focusing on what it's going to be, what it's going to take to be to that checkered flag first.
Thanks, Larry. There's Kevin Harvick in here at lap 47. Kyle Busch has already made his second stop. Kyle Larson, we're hearing, has been told on the radio to watch Chase Elliott and pit when he does. So that's a little different.
I can handle that.
Yep.
Yeah, and
right
look,
in front of me.
as we look at this group of cars right here, from Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, all the way back to Allmendinger, they're so close together. They're within a second and a half of each other. If Allmendinger can pit 1 lap before Christopher Bell does, he will cycle out in front of him. And we talk about the fall off. There's 3 seconds of fall off. But when you cycle through those pit stops, there's only 2 or 3 tenths different for those first few laps. So you gain so much on the front side or the back side of that and don't lose it on the front side of the stop.
Did you see at turn 11 there? How do you find a better line through the corner? Move the stacks of tires.
I've been watching it for the last couple laps. You can see right here where they were supposed to be, and now they're not there anymore. Somebody's hit him. You see the mark on that tire. You see the mark on this one as well. You start moving those in. The grip is on this paint right here, and the closer you can get your tires on there, that's the name of the game. Man, I don't know. I think we need a caution to move that back over there.
No. Don't give NASCAR any ideas, Clint.
Kyle Larson lost 2 spots that last lap. He got passed twice.
Yeah, he's fading at the end of this run right
And
here.
who's not?
He let Michael McDowell go. He saw McDowell catch him, making up so much time. And, you know, this is a road course, but Clint, you kind of race it like a Darlington, right? We talk about guys wanting to let them go to in the place that costs each of you the least amount of lap time.
Well, McDowell, he not only let McDowell around him, so did Chase Elliott. McDowell on the move.
Jamie, how about the 5?
And Larson just came on the radio and said, hey, they're on better tires than us. I'm fine, but I had to let him go. And also, they originally told the 5 of Larson to pit with about 5 laps to go in this stage. Well, I went over and checked with Alan Gustafson for Chase Elliott. He said, we want to run longer than that. So I'm not sure if they're planning on staying out until the end of the stage. We'll just have to watch, Mike.
Okay.
Sounds to me like they're playing games. They don't want anyone to know when they're going to pit.
So Truex has now opened up 1.2 seconds on Denny Hamlin. That group led by Christopher Bell, they're about 13 seconds back of the leader after 48.
All right, so another commercial break on Fox. Leaders will probably end up hitting pit road after stage 2. I'd imagine the Toyotas of Hamlin and Truex will probably stay out long enough to get the stage points. I don't know if that will be the same for Michael McDowell and A.J. Allmendinger, who stayed out the last time, but they lost track position to the Hendrick Chevys. McDowell has just made his way by both Elliott and Larson. Allmendinger has only passed Larson to this point, and actually Michael McDowell was behind A.J. Allmendinger after a slower pit stop despite pitting on the same lap at the end of stage 1 after the stage began. So lap 26 specifically, but in 22 laps he has finally caught back up and passed all 3 of them to get to 4th place. 14 seconds off the lead. Christopher Bell really not all that far in front of him still, so Michael McDowell definitely the best running Ford throughout the day. As I predicted, really, yesterday I was really only feeling confident in the Ford camp about McDowell and Bushram having good finishes, and McDowell as far as maybe an outside chance at the win, and that prediction is definitely going to fruition up to this point. It does look like we are under caution during the commercial break at lap 49, so caution flag is out right before the end of stage 2, and that will throw any strategy we've had up to this point out the window. And everybody who has short pitted will more than likely stay out, and this is going to flip the field. I really hope the caution is not to move the tires back. That's what I'm hoping. If the caution's to move the tires back, I blame Clint Boyer. Because that would be such a stupid reason. If they were knocked like way out of the way, that'd be one thing. They weren't that far out of the way. And he was talking about the tires in turn 11, by the way. The inside of the racetrack. Liz Bostic, thanks for tuning in. I mean, I'm all for cautions tightening the field every now and then, but not like natural yellow. I mean, the whole reason we don't have stage points or stage cautions anymore is to kind of open up the strategy and everything. We've seen quite a bit of strategy already today with drivers short pitting. Now we're well outside the top 10, and they have made their way up as a result. And I was probably thinking that Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson were going to try to do the same again there, but now they're not going to be able to do that with this caution flag. And this will pretty much make it just a one-stop race the rest of the way after this. We will get back with another race start right at the end of stage 2. So these points are not awarded. Again, lap 55 is the final lap of stage 2. We're at lap 50 right now. The caution flag flew at lap 49. Still not sure exactly what the caution is out for, but once they come back from the break, get to listen in and find out why. Like I said, it better not be the tires.
Area check local listings. Well, right after Ross Chastain had pitted from 12th, look on the right of your screen at Zane Smith's pit stop. They roll a tire over to the wall from the right front, and it doesn't get caught. Gets an assist as the car pulls out of the pits. That goes out into a danger zone. Caution waves.
Okay.
The key is the next car around here you're going to see is Ross Chastain. He was on pit road. Opportunity strikes here for some guys. Finally a caution, Jamie.
Loose wheel from Zane Smith causing
Justin
the caution.
Haley will get the free pass on this, the very first caution flag of the day. So that erases Truex's almost 2-second lead on the field.
Literally right in the middle of all the conversation.
2 seconds on Hamlin, but they were 14 seconds ahead of Bell in third.
It's time, and all
That
of a
was a
sudden,
big
here
gap.
comes the caution comes out.
And you hate that if you're one of those guys in the lead, not just because it bunches the field up, but because they're all going to pit under caution now, and you have such a chance of losing so many positions if you have a bad pit stop pitting under caution because everybody's grouped up. When you pit under green, you have a 3 or 4 second lead, 15 seconds back to 10th place. You can have a slower pit stop and it not cost you as much.
Well, that group from Ross Chastain on back, a bunch of those cars had made their stops under green, including Chastain, Kevin Harvick, and others as it cycled through. There you go. And so you can look at those that have very few laps on their tires and won't be coming under this caution.
Yeah, you see, clear back to Stenhouse, 6 laps. Austin Dillon, 7. Byron, 7. Busch, 8. I think all those guys stay out right here.
Well, they got to stay out, but it's a huge difference for Ross. Ross Chastain could not have been any better to be on pit road, have that caution fall, and he's basically going to be on equal tires to all these leaders.
So here they all come to Regan Smith.
Christopher Bell in the 20 car hurt his right rear tire. Told his team about 5 laps ago he felt like he had really destroyed it too much, losing all lateral grip with that car as well. The 19 of your leader, Martin Truex Jr., that was looser this run than the previous run. He fought loose the previous run, still too loose now. Jamie?
To Chase Elliott, he said it's handling about the same as it was before. Balance isn't bad, just need to take care of those rear tires. The 11 and Denny Hamlin getting that fresh tear off, said he's trending loose on the long run. Pretty happy with the 11 car.
So it looks like Kyle Busch will be the leader from Joey Logano.
Yeah, in the 11, you saw the front tire changer have an issue right there. It cost him some spots on pit road. The tire changer went down.
Here's your race off pit road, sponsored by Ram. Now again, these cars will not be the leaders, but that's how they come off pit road. First caution flag.
So caution is out again. Loose wheel for Zane Smith on pit road, bringing out the yellow flag. And right at the end of stage 2 for the most part. Very close to the end of stage 2. We're going to get a restart in here, so the points have not been awarded yet. But we are going to have an interesting lineup here for this restart as well. Quite a few drivers stayed out of the pits to get track position. The leaders all came onto pit road, as you heard. When they get back to racing here very quickly, this is going to be interesting. Free pass with that caution flag. Oh, give me a second. Free pass with the caution coming out went to Justin Haley in the 31. And it has trapped a few guys a lap down that did short pit that were further back in the running order prior to the caution. Looks like Harrison Burton, Zane Smith, the reason for the yellow, Zane Smith, of course, and then Andy Lally are all stuck a lap down. Everybody else on the lead lap. And nobody out of the race up to this point either. Looking at who has ran the fastest lap today, and it looks like Denny Hamlin has the fastest lap, which was all the way back at lap 2. It ran a 78.984. Truex's fastest lap of the race also on lap 2 is a 78.998, so just a little bit slower. And those are the only two drivers to run a lap time in the 78-second lap barrier today. So waiting for our leaderboard to update and see exactly where some of these drivers have cycled following following caution flag pit stops. And this is our first caution of the race. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to go. Silent Owl Scribe, thanks for tuning in. Got 76 likes. We're about halfway through the race, and we're about halfway to our goal of 150 today, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Bentley Potts, thanks for tuning in also. During that commercial break, I guess, but, well, during the caution flag. Vote in the chat as well if you haven't already for who you think will win today's race. 108 votes have been casted so far. It looks like anybody other than Hamlin, Reddick, or Allmendinger is your guys' pick to win, which is surprising. With Denny Hamlin up towards the front. Well, not surprising because Martin Truex Jr. is up there too. Well, we will get back to racing here shortly. Shouldn't be a long cleanup for the caution. You wouldn't think. Field is already pitted. I would imagine they'll be going green this time by. So on the restart, it looks like Kyle Busch and Joey Logano are going to be on the front row. Byron Chastain in row 2. Austin Dillon Stenhouse row 3. Keselowski Harvick row 4. And then Martin Truex Jr. won the race out of the pits all the way back in 10th. Denny Hamlin lost a couple of spots. He'll be 13th. So everybody on fresher tires and the faster cars in the field will be from 10th on back. With this flipping the field, this is going to make for a very interesting restart. And we are about to see how this is all going to work itself out. Lights are out on the pace car, so they will be going green this time. They've yet to go through the choose rule. And we will have 2 laps to go in stage 2 when we go green. So green, white, checker to the end of the stage, but we will stay green if there's no yellow for incident. And they'll race on after that. Which is good, because we won't have to see a rack 'em stack 'em caution after 2 green flag laps for no apparent reason. So I'm alright with that. But this definitely flipped the strategy quite a bit with the caution. Probably Ford, as far as car manufacturer that I like the most, just because I'm a Blaney fan. He's always been in a Ford. I own a Ford Mustang too, so there's that. Yeah, definitely Ford. So Logano will be on the outside lane going into turn 1 of the restart. Busch will be in the inside lane. Slight left-hander before going uphill through the carousel. Turn 3 on the inside of the carousel would actually be for Logano. But initially on the restart, it'll be Busch. All right, we'll see what these drivers that have been running up towards the front of the field will do now that they are at the front of the field and have the track position. Green flag back in the air at Sonoma. Kyle Busch out in front for the first time this afternoon. Gets the launch clear of Joey Logano through turn 1. And Logano clear for second as well. Byron drives it in deep on the outside, trying to pull back alongside Logano. And he got a decent drive off. Looked like Logano slipped the rear tires. Byron crowds him. Near contact made through 4 and 4A. And now they bounce fenders once again. Both cars go up the racetrack. And Ross Chastain almost making it 3 wide down into turn 6. Not going to be able to make a move to go 3 wide to the inside while he tried it in 7. Stenhouse was holding Chastain up just a little bit. Logano trying to protect on the 1. Chastain will hug the curb. Logano runs wide into Byron. Almost ran the 24 car off the racetrack. Both cars checked up. Chastain gets by Byron, but not by Logano. And that allows Kyle Busch to get out by about 2 seconds ahead of the field after a couple of different contact points between the 22 and the 24 that lap. Somehow both of them kept it on the racetrack, but Logano definitely used Byron up there a couple of times. And Chastain, as an innocent bystander there, was able to get by one of them. Truex gets pinched almost into the barrels. The tire barrels, that is, on the inside of turn 11 as he was underneath Keselowski. Keselowski squeezed him. Rather, that is Kevin Harvick in the 4. The other white car. The Mobil 1 car that had caused Truex to make that mistake. And it looks like Truex making another mistake. He gets by Harvick through turn 3, it looked like, but he actually locked up the right front tire, excuse me. So hopefully he did not flat spot it. But that was quite a bit of smoke coming out of the right front of Mart Truex Jr.'s race car as he went into that heavy braking zone. Michael McDowell got by Harvick and almost slipped by the 19 car as well. So Truex still the first on 4 fresh tires, but McDowell the second one. He was making contact as he was braking with Harvick, and maybe that's why he couldn't get the car to slow up. But if he did flat spot it, that is going to be a danger for the 19. Kyle Busch making his way through turns 9 and 10. He's going to pick up a playoff point, it looks like, for winning stage 2 as he's a second and a half still ahead of Joey Logano. Truex and McDowell trying to make their way through on these 4 fresh tires. They've only gotten up to 7th. Christopher Bell now on the attack trying to get by Harvick. This is a point in turn 11. On the final lap of the stage, Bell up to 8th now. And Kyle Busch receives a stage win. Got his first stage win of the year last week at Gateway. Gets his second stage win of the year this week at Sonoma. On the flip strategy. Joey Logano second in the stage. Ross Chastain third. William Byron fourth. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. fifth. Austin Dillon sixth. Martin Truex Jr. in 7th. Michael McDowell 8th. Christopher Bell 9th. And Kevin Harvick will all get stage points in Stage 2 today. Full screen commercial break right now. We'll go through our Stage 2 diecast showing. This week we have Tony Stewart. I might have shown this diecast already on the channel before, but I'll show it again. It is a Home Depot 1999 Pontiac Grand Prix. So this is one of the older Gen 4 diecasts that I own. And Tony Stewart, and you can see the rookie stripes on the back of it. In 1999, road course ringers Tony Stewart, third most winningest driver in a NASCAR Cup Series history on road courses, only behind Chase Elliott and Jeff Gordon. And his last career win came at Sonoma back in 2016 in his final full-time season as well. So the reason for showing a Tony Stewart diecast today. Again, I might have shown this one on the channel before, but I figured, we're on a road course, one that he won at a few times, and again, final win there. Commentated a lot of races on Fox with the guest commentator this year, and it's the last race on Fox. So all those reasons, good reasons to show that Tony Stewart diecast off for you guys. One of two that I own. I own a Mobile 114 car of Tony Stewart's also. And we are officially halfway as well. Royal Fields, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that comment. We will end the poll in the chat as well at 112 votes, pretty unanimously at 60%. You guys think that somebody other than Hamlin, Reddick, or Allmendinger will win. Busch led at the end of stage 2, but is after the flipping of the field during that caution. Belinda Leverett, welcome into the stream also. Hamlin had 16% of the votes, Reddick with 12%, AJ Allmendinger with 11%. Go back to our full field running order. Truex and McDowell. Also Bell getting by Austin Dillon during the break. Still about 3.9 seconds off the lead, and just outside the top 5 are the drivers on fresher tires. And it's not just fresher tires, but those guys are faster than the ones ahead of them based off of their pace through the first half. But this could definitely help, especially William Byron in the running order. Byron started 26, very deep in the field. He's gotten to where he is at right now based off of when he pitted before the caution flag came out towards the end of stage 2. Got stage points as a result, which is huge because he was only 13 points behind Blaney. Wasn't looking at getting any stage points today. Instead, he ends up getting 7 for finishing 4th. So he's only 6 points behind Blaney for the regular season points lead going into this final stage. And Blaney's still back at 29th. So Byron can hang on. Even if he doesn't get a top 10 and gets like a top 15, top 20 finish, he will be the points leader exiting Sonoma. It'll be his first lead since that big penalty that was hit for both the 24 and the 5 car this season as well.
This lead, he and Logano. It's hard. I thought they would drive up through there a little quicker than they are. The tires only being 4 or 5 laps. I'm with you. I think you got to do that in the first 2 laps. That's where you see that pay the biggest dividends.
So the Xfinity fastest lap we're showing you is times on the last lap that they ran, where your leader's a minute 20:06. You know who has the fastest lap of the day? Corey LaJoie, 90.76 miles per hour. And he's number 7. That was back at lap 28. Maybe it's all that shortcutting that's going on.
Well,
I'm not sure it was
moved that tire.
That's not really the way you do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was that lap.
Yeah. It's incredible, though, to see how tough the bodies are on these cars. You know, we talked about the lack of cautions today, and part of that is we used to see body rubs. When there was contact on the track, it would cut a tire down. Something like that with the old car, you pitted and had to come in to work on that. And, I mean, looking at it, I don't even see any damage to his car right now.
Quite a pack at battle there. Regan?
Well, Mike, you guys have been talking about the 34 of Michael McDowell earlier and how good he is. The strength of that car, the long run, and that's what it was yesterday. He predicted coming into today, if they could get the long runs, that would play out to what they need. The way that caution fell, it sets up for these next 2 runs to be the longest of the day. Travis Peterson told him this is exactly what we want right now. Jamie?
How about an update on Ryan Blaney, somebody we haven't even mentioned today? It's just been one of those weekends for this team, the 12 team. They tried something completely different with this setup here because they have struggled on the road courses, and it just hasn't been good. He's loose, he's tight, he's qualified 31st yesterday, running 28th right now. He's the regular season point leader right now, but what a letdown tough for the Blaney fans right now, Mike.
Well, he had that penalty, too fast exiting on his first pit stop of the day. As we ride with Daniel Suarez in 21st, he's in the midst of a hornet's nest. From Ryan Preece on back in 17th, Ty Gibbs, Brad Keselowski, Bubba Wallace just ahead, then Suarez, LaJoy, and Reddick, and Almirola. That is quite a pack.
I loved hearing what Regan said, that Travis Peterson, the communication that he's given Michael McDowell. He said earlier, he's like, look, they're on a 4-stop, we're going to be on a 3-stop, don't worry about it. Great communication. Just now, what we heard, he's telling him, like, you're doing exactly what we need. Clint, I loved my crew chief being a little bit of a cheerleader for me, and it all working out.
Yeah, they've got it set on kill this weekend. They know this is a big opportunity for them. Michael McDowell does a great job behind the wheel. This is a good track for them, and they're capitalizing. They're the ones that are holding pace with Truex getting up through the field for sure as he tries to make a move on William Byron.
Yeah, and all these guys, you see him racing William Byron right here, they know what a good road racer he is. He has a lot of respect from all these guys. He maybe isn't up front every single week. Obviously, it's been better the last couple of years with this next-gen car, but they know when you get to these road courses that you got to respect him. And listen, he's a really nice guy, right? He's really calm, but he's aggressive inside of the car. He drives as hard as anybody.
And that's the difference. A lot of people come to NASCAR from road racing. They just don't have, let's say, that killer instinct to be aggressive when necessary. Michael McDowell has no such problem in that department.
Jenson Button's a great example. When he came and ran a road course earlier this year at Austin, he's like, my Lord, I can't believe how aggressive everybody is. He doesn't have a lot of experience here. Michael McDowell's been around long enough. He kind of gets how all that works. And you've got to have the respect of those other guys and be able to root on them and gouge on them the same way they're doing to you.
You're talking about Coda when he ran that race. It did get a little rough there. He beat him up pretty bad. He's a new guy. You never let the new guy in that easy.
What about that? You see Joey Logano pull down and block Ross Chastain. Felt like he didn't get off turn 10 very good. Chastain, though, doing it the hard way around the outside. Unbelievable.
I love that. You go ahead and block that thing off. I'm going to get to your inside, and now I'm on the inside, and I'm going to try to push you out of the corner. This is going to get interesting when you get up to the top of the hill here.
Well, and you
there
know,
it is.
Those two guys, same racer. They rough people up, but when they get roughed up, they don't get mad. They don't whine about it. You see Chastain get a little bit loose on the outside.
Look who's there to take the opportunity and maybe get a 2-for-1 here with Truex. Now I'm setting him up for the exit of turn 4 right here. Watch. Let's see if Chastain blocks him getting into 7.
I think
set him up here. Here comes the passing zone. Truex going to shoot to the bottom. Don't wheel hop.
On your left.
The one thing about turn 7 is that you get in there, you can drive up on that curve. Even though it's off of the racetrack, it's so slow that you have a little bit of an escape zone right there if you're Truex. She's cheering him on, wasn't she?
Second slowest corner on the course, turn 7. He'll have another chance down at 11.
You talk about the slowest corner right here. This is a really intense corner, how fast that is. And you see Martin trying to get that run off of turn 10, but just not there. But he wants that position. Chastain knows that he's got a good car and how aggressive he's being right here.
Those tires being gone down there in 11 really opens the door up. You see Truex swoop down to the bottom, hook that bottom, and away he goes.
Yeah, and you almost wonder, did Chastain get his rear tires hot, making that outside move, maybe slipping them off of turn 11 the lap before? Because when he got up here to turn 2, you saw him run wide. It just looks like that car's lost some grip now.
Well, hey, that is the fastest car all weekend long, all day long. You know, I mean, it wasn't no slouch, it just passed it.
Well, thanks to Toyota, we're going to stay right here for commercial-free racing from Sonoma as we go Toyota all out. Tyler Reddick trying to rebound here. He is 22nd as he passes Keselowski. Truex 3rd, Bell in 8th, Hamlin 12th among the Toyotas, Gibbs and Wallace 18th and 19th, and then Reddick in 21st.
Truex, big, another dive bomb getting into 11. Watch him hook this bottom hard in the throttle. There he goes.
Truex to second. You better run and hide, Kurt Busch. Or, excuse me, Kyle Busch. I do that all the time. It's so easy to do. I just saw Kurt this morning. He is here, by the way.
And Truex has cut the lead to 2.5 seconds after that pass as he begins to drive away and chase back to the lead. In the early laps, Toyotas were 1 through 5. Then they got kind of sprinkled through the field up until the caution flag at lap 49.
Just shows you the strength in Truex's car, though. I mean, you know, obviously we covered Hamlin had trouble on pit road, but he hasn't been able to get through them near as good as Truex.
No,
quick time getting up through the field.
He's been able to manage the cars a lot better and be able to make those passes.
So Truex 2.5 back, and that gap right now is pretty stable. The effort to score wins and championships doesn't stop at the racetrack. Join us for a look at one of the ways Toyota prepares its drivers for success at the Toyota Performance Center.
My name is Caitlin Quinn, and I am the director of the Toyota Performance Center. The Toyota Performance Center is a place for specifically drivers in our Toyota driver development program, but also any professional Toyota Motorsports drivers who want to be a part of the program. We offer everything from training to nutrition to mental edge training and anything in between. This is our main weight room. We also have a heat lab where we train heat tolerance. We have a teaching kitchen. We do a lot of training, but if the drivers think of it as a clubhouse, it works pretty well.
Wow, come to the racetrack ready to win.
We need
Heat tolerance.
We need to get.
Whoa, got one around. Austin Dillon.
And this is at turn 11 at the exit.
So he didn't get it fired up here.
Yeah, I think they'll give him a second. He's out of the
Running
way.
17th.
He's at the
There he goes.
entrance
He got it fired up.
at the entrance to Gilligan's Island there, the alternate pit road they used.
How
back
did
in
he
the
end up
day.
there, Mike? Like, that's a really weird place to.
I'm gonna get you a replay here
I got
soon.
you.
It's coming.
You come around turn 11, you get hot on the gas, and the car rotates right, spins all the way around.
Or you just do that.
Yeah.
Here it goes.
Or
Or you get some help off the front bumper.
Well, that can happen too.
Ty Gibbs.
we should have stayed on Ty Gibbs for one more lap.
I want to see the entrance of 11 if we get a chance. I don't know if you'll be able to see that shot, but I think there's some Paul Harvey going on there. There's the rest of the story.
Oh.
I'm glad you asked because I was getting ready to.
Your age, Mike, you should know that.
Yes, I did. Here
Austin
we go.
Dillon missed, got loose. See that? Trying to slip around.
Yeah, that wasn't
that
Gibbs.
was not Ty Gibbs. Let me correct that. He kind of
was not
slid right in
Gibbs.
front of him. Ty Gibbs was trying. You heard him lift, trying to give him time.
What did Ty Gibbs have to say about that?
I got inside up there and he got loose and he kept digging. So I didn't want to do that, but that's kind of his fault.
Yeah, kind of.
I agree with you, Ty Gibbs. Keep digging.
Yeah,
Wasn't your fault.
I'm going to say Austin Dillon's going to see that differently, but I'm
Yeah,
with you guys.
Austin's giving like suspended next week.
I don't know that Ty actually did anything wrong in that situation. I'm coming right here, buddy. Motoring him down.
Martin Truex, when we started that Toyota feature, was 2.5 seconds back. He has now cut 1/3 of that away. It's down to 1.6.
Yeah, Truex could take a deep breath once he got by Joey Logano and kind of reset Clint, right? He knows he's going to be better than Kyle Busch. Again, just trying to save those tires, being methodical, not trying to slip the tires. He had to work that car a little bit hard to get by Chastain and Joey Logano earlier.
But let's talk about the opportunity and how well Kyle Busch and company in that 8 car, last week's winner, took advantage of that opportunity to their good.
Ooh-wee!
Little loose off a 10 there. But like I
My
said,
goodness.
a huge net gain. I mean, they are literally a contender for the win now.
Yeah,
because of that.
And you know, Clint, it's incredible. Like they've run well. We know they have the 3 wins this year. But when you're having the momentum on your side, the calls just work out for you. When things are on your side, look at this. So watch him get to the throttle right here. Yaw that car out.
That
It's
came
so
from-
much fun inside
It
the
was
car.
tight and missed the bottom, and then finally the front tires caught up, and the rear tires came around.
The rear tires are screaming right now, Mike. You see Truex running him down.
All right, let's take a ride with Martin Truex as he tracks down Kyle Busch.
Yeah, this would be a great way to get a look, and we can see the balance of Kyle Busch's car. We'll see if he's able to get to the apex of the corner. Does he have to use the curbs to get the front end to turn, or is he able to stay off of those? Or, Mike, we could just do this view right here and stay on the top.
Guess we could.
Well, I can tell you from my view, that car in front of him is getting bigger.
Yeah, and
I don't think he catches him in time to make a pass in 11 yet. I think you might wait till 7.
Yeah, I mean, he's quick enough. He doesn't have to push the issue. And when you're in Kyle Busch's car, you're just looking out of the back the whole time, knowing that he's coming.
Congratulations, Roy. $5,000 to Clint's cash, pending verification of eligibility.
Ohio Roy, that's my man. Love it.
Ohio Roy.
Yeah, you see that? Put that together.
I like that little nickname.
So that's why I said didn't get him done. Didn't get him past an 11. I think we got to come around here. We're setting him up. I want to get close enough at the top of the hill. Try to get in position. You see Kyle Busch starting to slip around a little bit. Get in position off of 4. Set him up for a pass in 7. The top of hill 3A.
You here, 43 more.
Excuse me. That was. Here comes 3 and 3A.
And I don't know if he's going to be close enough right here.
Still don't think he is.
But we've seen Martin be really good in the braking zones. Kind of like Tyler Reddick at COTA. He was so good in the braking zones. We'll see if he's not able to get up beside him here. Now it's a complete reset. I'm going to get a wide entry, get turned, and I'm going to stay as tight as I can to him to get that good exit off of turn 10.
And had a good launch there.
That's what makes this track extremely challenging and frustrating, mind you. All right. Turn 4, I didn't get the good run, didn't get him past in 7. All the way around, try to set up the next opportunity. And here it comes in 7, which, by the way, it slipped up off of 7, like Mike said, and I might not get it done in 7 or 11.
And you know, Clint, one thing about this track, the section we just saw from 7 down to 11, that's the fast section of the racetrack. And you can have one balance at the fast section of the racetrack, and then everything from right here back around to turn 4 is a little bit of a slower section. It kind of flows back and forth. So you could have a good balance on one side of the track and not the other. And it looks to me like the 11's able to get off, or the 19's able to get off of turn 11 and then just kind of roll in on him right here.
Man, Truex really hugged those tires tight off of 11. Extremely tight.
So with those stacks of tires moved at turn 11, Kyle Busch's spotter has been busy with instruction.
Now turn 11, he's off and away. He pushed that lap barrier over at turn 11 further back. You can use that now more further around the corner to wrap it if you need for exit.
That's exactly what I was saying. I saw him do it.
Oh, he's going for it right here.
There, by himself, 15.2. Clear.
I tell you what, it looked to me like the 8 had a good exit off of 4, but from that view, I mean, Kyle had to let him go to come from that far back.
You see Kyle slipping, sliding around, losing the rear grip on his race car at the top of the hill. That's a veteran move. I mean, you can't hold that guy back. Not when he's that much faster. Live to see another day, and I think that's exactly what Kyle Busch did.
Third place, but Michael McDowell is closing up on Joey Logano, who's using a lot of racetrack and a little bit of dirt here too.
Whoa! That been pretty hot
this
there.
time.
You see, there's the last set of tires.
Yep.
You see on the exit, that's when the 3 cars spun, it moves some of those out of the way. That opens that opportunity up.
69 laps complete in Sonoma. Martin Truex for Toyota.
41 laps to go in the Toyota Save Mart 350 at Sonoma Raceway. Martin Truex Jr. has a 9/10 of a second lead after just taking it away from Kyle Busch, who is in second. Joey Logano in third place right now, Michael McDowell fourth, Ross Chastain in fifth, Chris Buescher sixth, William Byron seventh, Christopher Bell eighth, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. ninth, and A.J. Allmendinger rounds out the top 10. Kevin Harvick in 11th, Denny Hamlin 12th, Chase Elliott 13th, Kyle Larson in 14th, Alex Bowman 15th, Ryan Preece in 16th, Ty Gibbs 17th, Daniel Suarez 18th, Bubba Wallace 19th, and Tyler Reddick is back at 20th. 21st is Brad Keselowski, Eric Almirola 22nd, 23rd is Chase Briscoe, Corey LaJoie 24th, Justin Haley 25th, Eric Jones in 26th, Ryan Blaney 27th, Josh Bilicki 28th, Ty Dillon 29th, and Austin Cindric is 30th. Todd Gilliland in 31st, Harrison Burton 32nd, Austin Dillon after his spin 33rd. 34th is Grant Enfinger, he's the first car lap down. Zane Smith in 35th, and Andy Lally is 36th. So that rounds out the field. Again, with 40 laps to go, 70 laps complete. In this one, we are in stage number 3 as of right now. Fantasy has locked up. I did take Reddick out of my lineup. He's back at 20th right now. He lost some spots on pit road and then lost even more track position. He has fallen off since this final stage has began. And he is actually now the lowest running Toyota on the leaderboard. He was running top 10 all day up until this final stage. And he is free-falling quite a bit because even Bubba Wallace has gotten around him. Ty Gibbs has fell back quite a bit as well, 17th. Denny Hamlin lost time on pit road and hasn't gotten back in the top 10 since, but he is still ahead of the Hendrick cars that he was in front of prior to that first and only caution at lap 49 of Elliott and Larson. Spotlight drivers and where they are running in the early going of Stage 3. Don't have picks of Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric still very deep in the field. Blaney 27th, Austin Cindric 30th. Joey Logano in third after that pit cycling with him short pitting prior to the yellow, so he gained track position and has been second or third place ever since the restart, trying to hold off Michael McDowell, who has been right on his tail for the last handful of laps, and is probably only a matter of time before the 34 gets by the 22. But Logano has a shot at the top 10 now, where he didn't before. Sleeper picks. Chris Buescher fell back, I think. I don't see him anywhere. No, my bad. He's in 5th. Never mind. Right behind Michael McDowell. So Chris Buescher's in 5th, McDowell in 4th, AJ Allmendinger 10th. All three of those guys were the sleeper picks. So 3 for 3 to this point in the race. And then the must-have picks. Tyler Reddick fell back to 20th. He was my pick to win the race today. It's potentially going to be only the third time that I've picked a driver to win a race, and they may finish outside the top 10. This one not because of a DNF. First two times were Larson at Darlington and Larson at Dover, so we'll see if Reddick can get back up in the top 10 before the finish. Denny Hamlin, as mentioned, in 12th place after that slow pit stop, and then Martin Truex, no, not Truex. Truex was not one of the must-have picks. Christopher Bell in 8th place, as of right now, is in the top 10.
Fire. Heard some good news. Talked to Kyle Larson this morning about him. Thoughts and prayers. What are you thinking about you, buddy? Heal up.
You bet. 39 laps to go here in Sonoma, and this battle for third has been a good one. Michael McDowell in that yellow Mustang trying to catch and pass Joey Logano. Catching him is one thing, passing another. One more try. Dive bomb here. Might get it done this time.
I didn't know if he was going to get it slowed down right there, but he did. It looked like it slid the back just a little bit. He has been working Joey Logano over, though, for the last 5 or 6 laps, just trying to get in the right position, and finally gets it done.
Talked to him before this race, and you could just see the confidence. I mean, he was literally grinning. Could not wait to get in that race car.
Here's Christopher Bell, Larry Mack. Let's get to Regan first.
Well, Mikey's been struggling with rear grip all day long, and this may have been a little bit of change of strategy plan, a little early for his stop right here. 4 tires for Christopher.
All right, Larry Mack, what about pit stop strategy from here on out?
Yeah, Mike, we went back racing with 57 to go. If you split that out, that's pitting with about 30 to go, which would be lap 80. But remember what happened when that last caution came out. It benefited cars that had pitted early. I'm probably in the next 3 to 4 laps, I'm going to go ahead and make that green flag pit stop, and in the perfect world, get that caution and get that track position. I don't want to wait all the way to 30 to go at lap 80.
Nope, there's Alex Bowman, the Ally Cam.
Look out.
Traffic jam.
Well, that worked out well for McDowell, though, because 1 second later, and he's behind all 5 of those cars, he might spend the next 6 laps trying to get by them.
3 wide into turn 4, and they come out. 34 laps to go in Sonoma. Chase Elliott in the lead from Kevin Harvick, Ty Gibbs, Tyler Reddick.
All right, they are headed to a commercial break. I don't know what's going on with my internet today. This is ridiculous, but we are back. Once again, Fox should hire Keegan to commentate internet broadcasts. I'd be down for something like that. Yeah, get me on their YouTube channel to commentate races. Radio style. I don't know what's going on. I mean, this is the first time it has rained since I have been at this apartment complex. So we've actually gone like almost 3 full weeks without rain. Well, actually, yeah, exactly 3 full weeks without rain until today. So I don't know if that is what's chopping out the internet because, again, this is the first time that it has happened, and it happens to be raining during the stream. So yeah, it started raining shortly after the drop of the green flag, and this is the second time it is completely cut out on us. But we are good. I keep having to reset the router, and even after that, it kind of cuts in and out for a little bit. So it is what it is. We are back. I'll get that live leaderboard going for you. And yeah, God Rides a Harley in the chat is correct. Probably annoys him more than it does us. It does, because it is costing me money. It sucks because we have so many people watching, and then that happens and we lose viewers because of stream lags. And the worst part is I can't even like let you guys know in the chat. I'm like, hey, it's, you know, the internet. I reset the router. We'll be up and running in a couple minutes. Like literally, if it lags for more than 30 seconds to a minute, we lose like half of the viewers we originally had. That's where it sucks. And when you don't have as many views, and it hurts the algorithm for the next week, and it just, with the way YouTube works, it's a pain all around. So we're in the middle of green flag pit stops right now as they are on a full screen commercial break on Fox. I felt like the internet was out a little bit longer that time too, unfortunately. So a quick rundown of the top 10 as we're in the middle of green flag stops. Everybody in the top 9 have not hit pit road yet. Actually, it looks like everybody in the top 7 have not hit pit road yet. Some of them are on pit road as of the last scoring lap. So Chase Elliott with a 1.3 second lead over Kevin Harvick right now. Tyler Reddick in 3rd. Daniel Suarez 4th. And Martin Truex Jr. Is in 5th. And he was the leader when the pit stop started, as we have 32 laps to go in this race. So Chase Elliott on racetrack, again, is leading the way. But quite a few drivers still have to hit pit road. Of those running in the top 10 that have pitted already, Martin Truex Jr., Christopher Bell, Michael McDowell, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, they have all pit. And McDowell was not quite able to get up to Busch. He did pass Logano prior to the pit stops, but a slightly slower stop for the 34 allowed the 22 to get back out in front of him. And I do believe Logano pitted a lap before McDowell as well, which also helped with the tire fall-off we have seen today. In fact, that last lap, Chase Elliott ran about a full second slow. Oh man, that's Truex, my bad. Gotta find Chase. Yeah, he would have ended up running almost 2 seconds slower that last lap before he pitted, but Chase is on pit road right now. Kevin Harvick follows the 9, and this will give the race lead back to Martin Truex Jr. as well, because Tyler Reddick is in from 3rd.
Rear tire's too much, too loose with the back of the car sliding around everywhere, Jamie.
Chase Elliott led 4 laps there, but had to bring it down. Said he's tighter now, but he thinks it's a good thing as he pulls it into the pit box. The 4 tires and an air pressure adjustment. Been pretty happy with this car today.
You know, Mike, he said his car's tighter now.
So now the green flag pit stops are going to be completely cycled through. And actually, there are a couple drivers in the top 10 who didn't pit that time by either. So your top 5 right now, Martin Truex Jr. is in the lead. Reddick was in 2nd at the scoring line. Daniel Suarez is 3rd, but he hasn't pit yet. Kyle Busch 4th and Joey Logano 5th. But still waiting for some of the other drivers in the top 10 to hit pit road, so I don't want to go through the full field running order following what is the final pit stop of the day. These guys can make it on field to the end. Now, because we have seen quite a bit of fall-off, if we see a late caution, it'll be interesting to see if anybody pits. Because we ended up having a yellow, which set up a 15-lap to go restart in the Xfinity race yesterday afternoon. Suarez coming in now, followed by Bubba Wallace. And I believe they were the last 2 cars to hit pit road from the top 10, so we will be cycled through next time by. Kyle Busch came out quite a ways ahead, and Christopher Bell cycled ahead of Michael McDowell on pit road also. So Michael's fallen back in the running order just a little bit. Truex is about 3.8 seconds ahead of Kyle Busch, who is in 2nd still. But now they're on equal tires for the first time. Because remember, Kyle Busch had slightly older tires when Truex caught him, but of course Truex had an also faster car, and probably the fastest car on the racetrack today. Denny Hamlin was pretty fast early, but now that he's lost track position after that slow pit stop from the only yellow we had right around the halfway point, Denny Hamlin has re-entered the top 10, but just not cutting through the field like Truex was able to do on that last restart. I don't imagine we'll see many guys at the front of the field hit pit road. It's kind of a situation, though, where if you don't hit pit road, guys behind you will. If you're at the front, I don't think you can pit. Because if you do pit and most of the drivers stay out behind you, you're never going to get those positions back. I mean, it took Truex the better part of 20 laps to get to the lead from about 9th place on that last restart. Side-by-side commercial break right now on Fox with 28 laps to go. So with everything cycled through, our full field running order with 28 laps to go on the rundown. Martin Truex Jr. has a 3.7 second lead. Kyle Busch in second. Joey Logano third. Michael McDowell fourth. Christopher Bell is fifth. Chris Buescher sixth. Ross Chastain seventh. William Byron eighth. Denny Hamlin ninth. And Kyle Larson is 10th. 11th place is Alex Bowman. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in 12th. AJ Allmendinger 13th. Ryan Preece 14th, Ryan Blaney 15th, Chase Elliott 16th, Kevin Harvick 17th, Ty Gibbs 18th, 19th is Chase Briscoe, and Corey LaJoie is 20th. Tyler Reddick 21st, Brad Keselowski 22nd, Eric Almirola 23rd, Justin Haley 24th, Ty Dillon 25th, Bubba Wallace 26th, Todd Gilliland 27th, Daniel Suarez 28th, Austin Cindric 29th, and Harrison Burton is 30th. Josh Bilicki at 31st, Eric Jones 32nd, Austin Dillon 33rd. 34th is Grant Enfinger. He's the last car in the lead lap. Zane Smith 35th and Andy Lally 36th, rounding out the field. So if it stays green to the end, no more pit stops. This is the run to the checkered flag. Truex about a 10th quicker than Busch that last lap. Again, first time we've seen him head-to-head on equal tires. Good run for Busch. If he finishes second today, he'll end up finishing second in each of the first 2 races on road courses this season. Michael McDowell just passed Joey Logano for third on the racetrack that last lap. And also got by Christopher Bell about a lap or 2 before that. So Michael McDowell, quickest car on the racetrack, the last couple of laps, jumps to third. Does he have anything for Truex? He's 5.8 seconds off the lead. Has to get around the 8 car yet. But if somebody has anything for Truex on speed, it may be Michael McDowell. In this final green flag run, have they made the right adjustments to that Love's 34 machine? And boy, if he can get up there, that'd be a pretty good battle between 2 pretty good road course racers in the NASCAR Cup Series. Truex, of course, has won at Watkins Glen before, but a couple of wins, as mentioned, at Sonoma, trying to go for his 4th, which I believe would be the most all-time. I think he's tied with Kyle Busch for the most wins at this racetrack coming in, and has a chance to be the current track leader as far as wins at Sonoma Raceway if he can get the job done today. But Michael McDowell just trying to close that gap. That last lap, though, even though he was quicker, 34 is quicker than the 19 the lap before. Truex picked back up again, dropped to 79.9, and nearly an 80 flat by McDowell. 27 laps to go. We'll take our final ad break of the race today, and we'll get back with the finish. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Sorry for the internet outages here a couple times throughout the course of the stream. Probably made us not allow ourselves to get to the goal of 150 likes today, unfortunately. Let's try to get that up to 100 here before the end. We are only 11 away. And the last update on the Spotlight drivers based off of the pre-race predictions and where they're running as well. Sleeper picks, Michael McDowell in 3rd, Chris Buescher in 6th, working for 5th. And actually, Chris Buescher just passed Christopher Bell for 5th, so 2 of them in the top 5. And AJ Allmendinger's kind of fallen way off. In the 16 car, he is in 13th. He's top 5 early, but now he's back in 13th place, struggling in the middle portion. The must-have picks is where I'm really struggling for some reason today. Christopher Bell's in 6th in the top 10. Denny Hamlin, I guess, is up to 9th again as he gained some spots on pit road, jumped from 12th to 9th. And Tyler Reddick not looking that strong in the second half of the race. Was strong early, top 5, and I don't know what has happened with that 45 car, but he's back in 20th. Definitely not going to repeat as another road course winner this year after he won at COTA earlier in the season. Toyotas have been strong today, but Reddick, for whatever reason, the second half of the race, not as strong as the first half. Don't have picks. All the Penske drivers. Logano's in 4th after the cycling of how that caution came out to get him track position, and he's been in the top 5 ever since, so he's looking for a top 10. Ryan Blaney's up to 15th. Great recovery for him. Now, I'm not sure if he has made his final pit stop or not, because Ryan Preece is in 14th, and they were around each other. So if I had to guess, I don't think Blaney has hit pit road. And actually, yep, that's exactly what happened, because Ryan Blaney just pitted, now he's 29th again. So I was going to say Ryan Blaney was 15th out of nowhere, but that was because he tried to run long hoping for a caution. Didn't get it. He's still in the lead lap, but back at 29th. Austin Cindric in 30th, so looking right on that. That was scaring me a little bit. Because, well, I mean, I guess Bell was in 6th. I was going to say I had Bell beat Blaney in a head-to-head bet today. So I guess even if Blaney was 15th, it still would have had it. I'm still comfortably ahead. If this stays green to the end, I'm fine with that. I'm going to win me some money today, which is going to make up for the lost cause of having those internet outages during the stream today, unfortunately. Reminds me of the early streaming days with the video games when I had like older internet service back at my home that I lived at when we first started the channel, and then I was living with my parents at the time. I was like, hey, I got to update the internet if I'm having to pay more for it a month, whatever. We just need it updated. So, got that. We haven't really had any issues since, but haven't had any issues in this apartment up until today, but I think some of it might be the rain. So, going forward, if we do have rain, I might end up using my hotspot on my phone, which may not be the best, but at least it would keep the stream going, because we can't have these outages. It hurts. It hurts me way too much. Hurts you guys as the viewers that are just listening and then it pauses for a couple of minutes and don't know what's going on. We missed a pass for the lead between Truex and Hamlin earlier, and this last time we missed green flag pit stops. So we missed some very crucial parts of the race because of it too, unfortunately. And what has been kind of a lackluster race today, but I will say there's one thing I don't want to read on the internet following this race today, is I don't want fans complaining about there not being stage cautions because it made the race boring, because that did not happen at COTA. COTA was spectacular up until the late race cautions, and we had yellow after yellow after yellow. I thought it was shaping up to be the best race of the season up to that point, and really outside of Kansas this year, I'd say the first 85% of that race was probably the best racing we've seen this year. It just so happened to be that today, Martin Truex Jr. is just that much faster than everybody else. And Hamlin was there with him. It was a good battle between those two. They weren't really further than 2 seconds apart from each other that first half of the race for the caution. But Hamlin can't compete with the 19 because he's stuck back in traffic. And you can clearly see who the faster of the two is now with them being separated, because Truex was able to go from 9th to 1st over the course of that last tire snap following a restart. But then today, obviously, Denny Hamlin was not able to do that, and he's been stuck still in 9th place, only gained a few positions since that halfway mark of the race. 4.4 seconds, 4.0 seconds, excuse me, is the gap between Truex and Busch. Michael McDowell isn't quite running down the 8 car as quick, and he was keeping up with Truex on lap times at first when he initially got to 3rd, but that's not the case anymore. In fact, Chris Buescher in 4th after just passing Joey Logano that last lap was a little bit quicker than the race leader, Martin Truex Jr., but only by 8/1000ths of a second. He's 8.2 seconds off the lead. And if it stays green to the end, I don't think anybody's catching that 19. Unless we get into some super heavy lap traffic, which we haven't had to deal with today. It looks like Grant Enfinger, the last car in the lead lap, is about to go lap down. But after that, there's still about a 16-second gap before Blaney and Austin Dillon potentially go a lap down at the hands of Martin Truex Jr. Smooth sailing, unless he's maybe using up his tires too early in the run and Busch saving enough, McDowell saving enough to the end, then they can close. It might be lights out for the rest of the field. Looks like commercial break on Fox. Again, top 5. Martin Truex Jr. with a 4-second lead over Kyle Busch. Michael McDowell 7 seconds off the lead in 3rd. Chris Buescher's 8.2 seconds back in 4th. And Joey Logano in 5th is 8.8 seconds off the race lead. And we are up to 96 likes, so we're almost to 100. We'll try to get to 150, but yeah, it's going to be tough. Man, we had to have those internet issues, didn't we? Had to have it. I mean, we need rain at where I live. Like I said, it hasn't rained in 3 weeks. You would think I'd live in the desert. I do not live in the Midwest. And it has not rained in 3 weeks. This is the longest drought I think I've ever seen, especially in spring. That's what's the weird thing. Like, this is a rainy portion of the season. We have 0 rain. So we needed it going forward. If it rains, hopefully it's not when I'm streaming. So as long as it's not middle of the day on Sunday, it can rain overnight Sunday. It can rain, early morning Sunday. Just don't rain middle of the afternoon, and we'll be okay going forward. We do have live commentary streams for the NASCAR Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series every race weekend. Again, next week there's no action all for Father's Day for all 3 series. They will have a triple header at Nashville the weekend after Father's Day at the end of June. So that will be a big week of live commentary scheduling. Again, Nashville in 2 weeks for the Truck, Xfinity, and the Cup Series. Xfinity and the Cup side will be on NBC USA Network the rest of the season. Fox still carrying the truck races all the way throughout the course of the year going forward. And again, off next week. 80.6 second lap time, that last lap for Truex. Joey was an 81.5. And nobody was quicker than Truex that last lap. The next closest to him was A.J. Allmendinger, who dropped an 80.9 in 12th place. And that was still 0.3 of a second slower than Martin Truex Jr. So quickly and easily the fastest car on the track is that Bass Pro Shops Toyota. And it'd be fitting enough that a Toyota would win the Toyota Save Mart 350. Yeah, the only bet I thought about doing that I didn't do was taking a Toyota to win the race today. And it wasn't as confident as what I was with the other picks. Boy, let me tell you right now, this is looking good for me. I needed Bell to beat Blaney. It's looking good. Needed Cindric to get beat by both Ty Gibbs and A.J. Allmendinger. That's going well. And top 10s for McDowell and Allmendinger. Now, Allmendinger's in 11th right now. He just passed Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So that's the only one I'm looking at maybe not getting. The other ones will make up for it. Maybe A.J. could get up there. Passing Hamlin's going to be tough because that's who's in 10th. Byron just passed Hamlin for 9th on the track. We do have Denny Hamlin's around. Well, that's going to be one way to pass him. Caution flag is out. It looks like a flat tire for Denny Hamlin, the right rear. Hamlin has crashed on the front stretch. And we are under yellow for just the second time today with 19 to go. Looks like a toe link break on Hamlin's car. I don't even think he's going to be able to stay on the lead lap. He has to go the full length of the racetrack before making his way back to pit road. He's going to have a wild ride at about 45 miles an hour to try to make his way back. So something is bent in that right rear suspension. I don't know if maybe he got into the wall. He definitely spun. I don't know if he had contact from another driver or not, which caused the spin. He hit the wall pretty hard.
He got up into the wall. A lot of damage to that right rear quarter panel.
So lost it.
And then he spins into the inside barrier.
The way that car and it was bent on that right rear, it takes me back to those tires in turn 11. Did he get into the tires and bend that toe link?
Yeah, he's definitely had contact with something, and when it breaks that toe link, it actually, the rear of the car, you see, it starts steering the front of the car, and you're just along for the ride.
Well, he'll try to wheel it around under caution.
Well, there's one thing I can guarantee. This changes the game for this race. What we do here, Larry?
Well, I think there's no question. We're going to go back racing probably with about 15 or 16 laps to go. You look at Martin Truex Jr., 16 laps on his tires. Even Chase Elliott, 10 to 11 laps. I think you're right. They're all going to be coming here because we've got too far to go to the checkered flag.
Somebody's going to stay out. It's just, will there be enough drivers to stay out that will kind of barricade the drivers on fresh tires behind them?
I don't dare risk it.
No, I think you have to pit if you want to win the race. You can't hang on with that. Truex has been the best car. You got to pit. He's got to hope Truex has an issue on pit road. Maybe shuffles him to the back, and then he can race Kyle Busch for the win. But I think you got to come to pit road.
I agree, but I think this is giving Luck a chance to operate. If you're, all right, let's think about it. Chase Elliott. There's no way they think they have to win. What do you have to do? You need, if you're going to stay out, you got to have enough the cars behind you, a buffer, if you will, between the guys that don't. But
I can see Chase staying out.
For Chase Elliott, I think the caution came 3 or 4 laps too late. We talked about he needed that caution to fall between 5 and 8 laps in order to stay out. I think that's going to be a struggle, guys.
If you do stay out, the only thing
I think he stays out. He's got nothing to lose, needs a win.
Hamlin makes his way to pit road, where hopefully they can replace that
toe link
and
might as well
fix any other damage. Everybody's coming around up at turn number 7 and headed for pit road. Before they get there, we'll remind you that coming up next on Fox is Week 9 of the USFL. Now in the North Division, if the Philadelphia Stars beat the New Jersey Generals today, they clinch a spot in the playoffs. But if New Jersey wins, then all 3 other teams will still have a path to clinch next week. So a lot at stake here. Tune in next on Fox. Here's some Martin Truex radio.
The guys that might stay out, we're on a 5-lap tire differential. Yeah, 4. Just think there's too long to go, given we have 16 on tires, especially if we get more cautious. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's the leader.
I'll be the first to tell you, when you got 33 drivers on the lead lap, there's going to be a handful that's going to stay out.
Yes.
Follow the leader. That's all you'll do is follow the leader.
I think you look for the opportunities. You look for people. I like what your head was at, and Mike Joy, when you said McDowell, I look at a Chase Elliott that's in a must-win situation. There's other guys out there. You need 10, you need 12 cars to be a buffer. Look at Truex thinking about it. What's he going to do? Still time, still time. We're pitting.
A lot of them are coming in. Outside the top 10, though, I think some will stay
All
out.
the top 10 and more.
There's Chase Elliott staying out.
Regan.
Kyle Busch continues to lose grip as he runs with that car. Same problem that he has been fighting all day long in that 8 car. The 19 of Martin Truex, they said that they felt like those 6 or 7 cars would stay out. Made the decision a little bit tougher, but it was easy when they got to the top of the S's. They said, pit, no complaints on the car. And the 34 of Michael McDowell just too loose for the S's going left and right now. Jamie?
Ross Chastain pits from the 6th spot, says he just doesn't fire up as well as the cars around him, and he's still on the loose side, but certainly not terrible for the one. He's still got a shot.
Well, here's who did not pit. Well, first, here is your race off pit road, sponsored by Ram. Truex and Busch, the first one's off. Chris Buescher gets 1, so does Logano, Chastain, Larson, and Allmendinger. Chase Elliott stays out, so does Tyler Reddick. And
16 laps to go under caution right now. Make that 17 laps to go under caution as of right now. There were a handful of drivers that stayed out of the pits that will restart towards the front of the field. Michael McDowell lost a lot of spots on pit road. I think he lost at least 10 positions. He went in 3rd. He came out outside the top 10 of those that did pit. And that's not even counting the drivers who ended up staying out, trying to pick up track position here to the end of this race. Waiting to see how our leaderboard is going to shake up following those stops. I would have to imagine that quite a few drivers that did end up staying out of the pits were running outside the top 10 anyway. Some of them need a win still this season. Some of them do not. But once they get another lap in under caution, we get to 16 to go. We'll get to see our leaderboard completely shake up, and we'll know who is going to be at the front of the field for the ensuing restart. What could be the final one of the day. We've only had 2 cautions so far. Cautions tend to breed cautions late in these NASCAR races, really any motorsport for that matter, and I don't think that we're going to see many other yellows if we even do see another one. A toe length break on the right rear causing Denny Hamlin to spin on the main straightaway. We didn't see a replay of turn 11 prior to a spin, but it was believed by Jamie McMurray and Clint Boyer in the booth that maybe he ended up knocking the toe link out, hitting one of the tires, so when he made his way onto the front stretch, he had spun out because it was a very weird spot to spin on his own. It's a tight area of the racetrack, yes, with the pit wall on the inside and then where the outside concrete wall is, but obviously it was in an area of the track that isn't that difficult to drive. So definitely an issue for Denny Hamlin. That's going to knock him out. That's going to hurt my fantasy team because I had him on there. Hopefully a lot of other people in the league had him too. But a rough second half of this race for Hamlin after starting on the pole and running so good early. So the drivers who stayed out of the pits on the restart, there were actually only 3 of them, and I'm surprised that there were only 3. Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, and Ryan Blaney were the only drivers to stay out of the pits during that caution. Chase Elliott in pretty much a near must-win situation to make it to the playoffs. Even if he doesn't win this race, maybe he gets quite a few points, tries to get back in. He is 82 points below the cutoff line coming into this one today with just 12, actually make that 10 races to go on the regular season before the Nashville race. That's after today. I explained that very difficultly. I don't know why I said it like that, but there are only 10 races left in the regular season after today's race. So Elliott probably in a must-win situation, and this could be an opportunity to get it done. He's good on road courses, and when he is equal with everybody else, he's had top 10 speed. So let's see if he can get it done. Tyler Reddick, who was my pick to win the race, was in 20th when the caution flag came out, but he stayed out of the pits as well, is going to be in second. And then Ryan Blaney, who is outside the top 30, has been outside the top 25 all day today, is now going to be third on the restart following that pit stop. Oh boy, here we go. It's definitely going to be interesting. So only the top 3 are going to have older tires, about 10 to 15 lap older tires. And we will see how this will shake up. Truex is the first car to get through on fresher tires on the last restart. We'll see if he'll be the first one to get through once again. Showing a replay of what might have happened to Hamlin. Hamlin actually hit the inside wall in turn 12 right before the start-finish line, which caused him to then hit the outside wall, which bent the toe link, and then spun him back into the inside wall again. So a self-inflicted error there for Denny Hamlin. Missing his mark in turn 12 caused himself to spin on a narrow portion of the racetrack. They're heading to the choose rule. They'll be going green with 15 laps to go this time by. Same amount of laps that we had to close off the Xfinity race on a late race restart yesterday. So Truex, Elliott, Buescher, Blaney. Maybe it is correct. I don't think that leaderboard is correct on the scoring tron of where everybody's going to restart. We know Chase Elliott will be on the inside, rather outside of row 1. It'll be the inside headed into the first turn, which has been the preferred lane on the restart so far today, where the leader has easily been clear before they even get into the carousel. So we'll see if Chase Elliott will be able to clear. Yeah, it is Reddick on the outside. That's what I thought. So Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick will be on the front row. Then Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr. in row 2. Kyle Busch, Chris Buescher in row 3. 15 to go. Pace cars off. Green flag back in the air at Sonoma. Chase Elliott needs a win to get into the playoffs. Can he get it done? He's clear into turn 1 on Reddick as expected. Reddick cleared for second, and Truex has to battle Blaney through the carousel for third as they're side by side. McDowell trying to get back in the top 10 after a slow pit stop. Had bumped him out. Had to restart back at 14th. Battling Stenhouse for the time being. Tyler Reddick gets in really deep into the next corner. Martin Truex Jr. underneath of Reddick now off of turn 4 into 4A. Truex trying to outbreak the 45 car. Needs to get by him as quickly as possible. Runs him a little bit wide. Reddick had to lift to keep it off the tire wall on the exit of the corner. Now into 7. Looking to block Kyle Busch in the 8 car who dive bombs underneath Reddick. Runs Reddick up the hill just a little bit. And Truex is going to get away in second. Kyle Busch to third into the S's as he barely clears Reddick, who's holding on for dear life on old tires. Logano and Blaney, who suffered early in the race after late strategy, they are now in the top 10, and they're also trying to hold on for the best finish they could possibly get. Much needed for Blaney being the points leader. Byron outscored him in the stages on points, but now he's about 7 positions higher than Byron in the running order right now. Plenty of time for Truex to get by Elliott. I think the big thing is he needs to get around him maybe sooner rather than later, so that way Kyle Busch doesn't have a chance to catch up. And that's why Busch was so aggressive in trying to pass Reddick, because he knew he needs to get to the 19 before the 19 catches the 9. Truex hard into the carousel to the back bumper of Chase Elliott. 14 laps to go. He is definitely close enough to try to make the move into turn 7. Kyle Busch, a second off the lead, is closing now. He is 3 car lengths behind Truex through turn 4A. Truex looking a half a lane lower than Elliott. Keeps it off the curbing. Gets a good drive off. Shoots to the inside. Elliott up high. Elliott maybe going to try the crossover move. Undercuts the corner. Can't pull back alongside Truex. Truex is clear into the S's. And the 19 car of Martin Truex Jr. is out in front once again at Sonoma, the 3rd different time today. Kyle Busch in 3rd is right behind Chase Elliott, trying to get to 2nd quickly and seeing if he has anything for Truex in the late going. Kyle Busch all over the back of the 9. Got a little loose in turn 10. We saw that earlier today too. Busch underneath Elliott. Gets to 2nd. Elliott going to let him go. Dive back in line behind him. Ryan Blaney underneath Joey Logano. One car went wide. That was Tyler Reddick. And Reddick's got a tire down, it looks like. Tyler Reddick has a tire down. He is very slow on the main straightaway. We stay green. May have ended up in the outside wall in turn 11. No, that is not the case. He does have a flat tire, though. And he is making a quick U-turn after everybody went by so he can make his way back to pit road. Tough break for Tyler Reddick. Flat left front tire for Reddick. Remember, he restarted on older tires as well. So he did not pit there. Not exactly sure how that happened. He did make contact with Kyle Busch a couple laps before that, so maybe that caused the tire to go down. But it was flat getting into the corner, it looked like, as Ryan Blaney had hit him. Eric Almirola is around in turn 7. I would have to assume that that was likely because of contact. Kyle Busch is making a run for his money at Martin Truex Jr. right now. He is all over the back of the 19 car, and he's not letting Truex drive away. Truex has done that most of the day. He did get a great acceleration off turn 11, and Busch lost a little bit of time that last corner, but he's still within a second of the lead, half a second at that, with 12 laps to go. Chase Elliott's still in 3rd. He's higher up in the running order than what he was running most of the day. Chris Buescher's working on Ryan Blaney still for 5th place. Blaney gets a top 10. That's a win. How badly he's been running throughout today's race. McDowell and Allmendinger rounding out the top 10. They restarted just outside, but they got back in on that restart. Tough break for McDowell, though, who was in 3rd. And was probably looking at a 3rd place finish if it stayed green to the end. But lost time on pit road slow stop. Smaller teams don't typically have quite as good of pit stops. Some of the bigger teams, and that might be a result of what may have happened or gone wrong for McDowell. Maybe some inexperience from his crew. Kyle Busch is very good in the closing corners of the racetrack leading down towards turn 11, and then Truex starts to gap him in the front half of the following lap. We'll see if that happens again. If Busch can just make up some time through the carousel and into turns 4 and 4A, I think he's got a shot to stay with the 19 and keep himself in contention here late. Trying to battle his former teammate. This is shades of the 2017 race where it was Truex and Busch battling, only at the time they were both racing for JGR. That means 2 of my must-have picks have had issues here late. Reddick with the flat left front and Hamlin wrecked. Undercutting turn 12. Bringing out that last caution. Ryan Blaney setting a decent pace. so hard to pass on these road courses a couple laps after the restart, and that is why we are not able to see Chris Buescher or Christopher Bell try to pounce. Oh, one car's around again. Down towards turn 4, Eric Jones has spun. A lot of dust getting kicked up onto the racetrack. It's the third driver we've seen have a problem since the restart. Jones is very slow. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it back to pit road or not unless he can get the car refired. He's just kind of rolling down the hill. Kyle Busch lost time in turn 7 after a major hop off of the curbing. If Jones can get his car refired, we will stay green, but he is very slow. If he stalls out, and he's got about a half a lap still to make it back to pit road, as he has not even gotten to turn 7. But if he stalls out, we're going to end up getting a caution, and we're going to have another restart. 10 laps to go right now. Busch lost a lot of ground the second half of that last lap after that wheel hop. Really not even a wheel hop. It was just a curb that threw him so far off the racetrack. Jones has gotten his car going again as he enters turn 7. So we do stay green. Eric Jones is back to full power. Allmendinger picks up a spot on Chastain for 8th meanwhile. Fox going with a side-by-side commercial break with 10 laps to go. We'll keep our coverage going here. Listening live on the YouTube channel. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you have not already. As we've got about 97 likes. Our goal was 150. We had a couple of internet issues throughout the course of today's race. So again, I apologize for that one, but I think it might be because of the rain outside the apartment. So I apologize for that. I'm assuming that is the reason, and hopefully we don't have any more issues the rest of the way as we're down to just 10 laps left. Chase Elliott, Joey Logano battling for position. In fact, Logano actually did get around Chase Elliott that last lap. Tyler Reddick, who just came off of pit road right in front of the 22 car. And Busch is now falling to about 1.1 seconds behind Truex. Curious to know if Reddick's going to still have decent speed to try to keep up in front of those cars that are running just behind him, because if Logano's having to deal with some dirty air in third, it could really bunch that third to really 10th place position up quite a bit, which would definitely allow the top 2 to get away further, but it would also make the racing much tighter inside the top 10. Chris Buescher still cannot get alongside Ryan Blaney. Turn 7, he did close the gap quite a bit that last time. Top 5 with 8 to go. Mart Truex Jr. leads. Kyle Busch 2nd. Joey Logano 3rd. Chase Elliott 4th. And Ryan Blaney is 5th. Kyle Busch 0.2 of a second, make that 0.3 of a second slower than Truex that last lap. Blaney went wide, by the way. I don't know if he got nudged by Busch or not, but he almost ended up in the wall off the exit of turn 11. And Christopher Bell's right on his back bumper. In a battle for 6th on the track, Buescher needed to go. He knows there's a couple spots for grabs in front of him with Logano and Elliott that he's been faster than all day. Might have been a little bit of impatience sitting behind Blaney for a handful of laps after the restart already, and he knows his time is running out to try to get a top 3 finish. But he is back in the top 5. Solid run today for Buescher. He's been the fastest forward along with McDowell for most of the day. McDowell up to 9th as he just passed Ross Chastain that last lap. Kyle Busch did pick up quite a bit on Truex this lap through the middle portion of the racetrack, which has been kind of the weak point for Kyle Busch over the really laps since the restart on Truex specifically. He was 1.3 seconds back, but it looks like Busch was about a 10th or 2 quicker than the 19 that last lap. Turn 11 is where Truex is so good, though. Christopher Bell going to get by Ryan Blaney in turn 11 as well for 6th. Blaney just trying to hang on for a top 10 at this point. A.J. Allmendinger, Michael McDowell in his rear view now. Allmendinger into turn 3, a little too hot. Chattered the front tires, and Michael McDowell is now all over the 16. And Tyler Reddick on slightly fresher tires is closing in on the top 2. So he is not really holding up Joey Logano at all. Logano still 5 seconds off the lead. Another massive hop over the curbing with those right side tires in turn 7 for Kyle Busch. It's the second time he's hit that curb drastically, which is almost taken a little bit of speed out of it. Blaney has just spun in turn 7. He might have gotten ran over there. Allmendinger was just behind him. Blaney gets turned in turn 7. That's going to drop him all the way back to 20th before he can get fired up again in front of Austin Dillon. Allmendinger shot into the corner way too deep. And then Blaney just got sandwiched between the 16 and 34. Really, nobody did anything wrong there. I mean, McDowell got into Blaney, but Blaney was in the back of the 16 car too. They got log jammed after the 16 smoked the tires. And he had to slow up so much in the center of the corner just to grab the gear and keep the car going that Blaney ended up in the back of the 16. And if the 34 didn't hit him, he probably would have kept going, but he just got sandwiched, nowhere to go. And tough day continues for Ryan Blaney. It looked for a glimmer of hope. He might have been able to get away with a top 10 despite not running anywhere near the top 20 today, but that is not the case. And as a result, has lost so much track position after that spin in turn 7. Blaney's around again, by the way. I don't know what happened there, but he has spun again. This time it was in turn 3, it looked like, at the top of the carousel. And now Chase Briscoe got into him. That was on Briscoe that time. Nobody was at fault in the turn 7 spin for Blaney, but Briscoe definitely got in a little hot into turn 3. Turned Ryan Blaney. Blaney spins twice in the span of a lap. And he goes from running in 7th place all the way back to, what, last on the lead lap probably? 29th. I think the only cars behind him are Malicki and Almirola, who also spun recently since the restart. 5 laps to go. Truex has opened up a 1.4 second lead over Busch. What a stretch of races here for Kyle. First and second, 2 weeks in a row. And how about second place on both road course races for Kyle Busch this season if he can hold on? Which, if we don't get another yellow, I think he is going to end up second, because it doesn't really look like he's got anything for Truex as long as Truex doesn't make a huge mistake here. Busch was actually about a 10th quicker than Truex at last lap, so the race for the lead isn't over yet. If Truex just misses one corner, Busch is going to be there. But as far as Joey Logano goes, I don't think he's going to have anything for Kyle Busch. 8 cars been faster than the 22 all day. Chris Buescher's actually up to 4th. He just passed Chase Elliott a lap or 2 ago. And he's about 2 seconds behind Logano. In case the leaders somehow get into one another on the final laps, you just never know. There's something worth battling for there. Plus, if we get a late race caution, it gives you 1 spot further in the running order to help you on the ensuing restart, to have the outside chance at the win. Truex quicker than Busch by 0.3 of a second that last lap, picked up from the lap before. I don't know if Buescher is going to actually catch Logano. He might have had a hiccup that last lap because Joey was a 10th quicker than the 17. Buescher was pacing quicker there for a little bit. Back-to-back top 5s at Sonoma for Chris Buescher if he hangs on. And another solid day where he's been super consistent this season. Came into this race 13th overall in the regular season standings. 14th in the playoff standings. Was inside the cutoff line by about 40 points, but looking to build that cushion even more today. And the good news is for him that Truex already has a win this season, so he won't have to deal with another new winner pushing him further back. It is looking like a good call, though, for Chase Elliott to stay out. He was in 12th when the caution came out. Now he's in 5th. lost those first 4 positions and may still lose a spot or two before the end of this one, but he's going to end up finishing inside the top 10, and I don't know if that would have been the case if he would have restarted in the middle of the pack, especially with the few spins we saw in the restart. There's no way of telling he would have had a safe finish to this one. 3 to go. Top 10 late in the race. Martin Truex Jr. out in front. Kyle Busch second. He's 1.8 seconds behind him. Joey Logano third. Chris Buescher fourth. Chase Elliott fifth. Christopher Bell sixth. AJ Allmendinger seventh. Michael McDowell eighth. Kyle Larson ninth. Ross Chastain is 10th. William Byron more than likely will take over the points lead from Ryan Blaney with the stage points scored earlier. The late spins by Blaney, which put him back where he has been running most of the day in 31st. Byron in 14th. Although Martin Truex Jr. was, I think, like 22 points back. So, I mean, there's a chance that actually Truex will be the points leader and jump from 4th to 1st in the standings in 1 week. Harvick was 3rd in points. He was outside. He hasn't been running that much better than Byron. I don't think he's going to pick up enough points to jump to 24. There's a chance Truex is going to end up with the points lead. He didn't win any. Well, then again, Truex didn't get that many stage points in stage 2, though. So I don't know if he made up full 22 or 23 points. I think he was 23 points back of Blaney. He'll make up the points on Blaney. He was probably 13 behind Byron. I guess in the finishing order, he'll get that alone, so there's a chance Martin Truex Jr. may lead in points for the first time this season with this win and be a second win this year, and really the second in the last 5 points races, as he last won at Dover at the beginning of May. Just looking to get to that white flag in case we see something else happen. A late caution from his teammate Denny Hamlin almost costed Truex a shot at the win here, but he got back to the lead with about 8 to go on Chase Elliott. Busch battled him very close behind for about 2 or 3 laps, but then after that, Busch just couldn't hang on. Truex has had the superior car, the superior drive of the day. He hasn't made any mistakes, despite restarting a little bit further back in traffic now on 2 restarts. Has made his way to the front. He's made passing easy. Compared to any other driver, Busch is still pushing hard trying to catch him. He almost ended up in the grass out in turn 10. Kicked up a little bit of that sand off the exit of the curbing. Busch has struggled with a loose car in that corner most of this race. And the white flag is in the air now. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Busch was about 1.3 seconds slower that last lap, mainly because of turn 10 and how wide he was. No need to have to push it now. He's still 4 seconds ahead of Logano. He's not going to make up that much time. Time for Busch to just kind of reel it in, get the second place finish, get out of here. Martin Truex Jr. half a lap away from a victory. 10 years ago, he won in the 56 car with his first win with Toyota, back with Michael Waltrip Racing. Today, he's going to receive his 4th win at Sonoma, giving him the most wins at this racetrack all time. All of them in the last decade. Didn't run that well here last year as a whole. Toyota didn't. This year, they came to play. But only one of them was actually able to escape any major issues, keep themselves clean, and even just get a top 5. Christopher Bell back in 8th place, the next closest now 9th. Larson's just passed him on the final lap. And through the kink at turn 12, the checkered flag is in the air. Martin Truex Jr. is a winner for the 2nd time in the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series season as he wins the Toyota Save Mart 350 at Sonoma. Toyota wins the Toyota Save Mart 350 once again, as they were doing many times in the mid to late 2010s. Their first of the 2020s. But another one for JGR. Kyle Busch will finish in 2nd, Joey Logano 3rd, Chris Buescher 4th, Chase Elliott 5th, AJ Allmendinger finishes 6th, Michael McDowell 7th, Kyle Larson 8th, Christopher Bell 9th, and Ross Chastain will round out the top 10 tonight. Kevin Harvick 11th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 12th, Ryan Preece 13th, solid run for him, William Byron 14th, Alex Bowman 15th. Brad Keselowski 16th, Bubba Wallace 17th, Ty Gibbs 18th, 19th was Austin Dillon, Corey LaJoie 20th, Justin Haley 21st, Daniel Suarez 22nd, Ty Dillon 23rd, Todd Gilliland 24th, Austin Cindric 25th, Grant Enfinger 26th, Harrison Burton 27th, Eric Almirola 28th, Chase Briscoe 29th, and Josh Bilicki 30th. Ryan Blaney last car in the lead lap 31st. Eric Jones first car lap down finishes 32nd. Tyler Reddick 33rd, Zane Smith 34th, Andy Lally 35th, and Denny Hamlin, the only car that DNF'd today, finishing 36th. 2 cautions, that was it, lap 49 and lap 91. The uncontrolled tire issue with Zane Smith, and the 11 of Denny Hamlin crashing on the front stretch after overdriving the entry to turn 12 and clipping the wall, bending the toe link after crashing into the outside wall. Martin Truex Jr. led the most laps today with 51 laps led. Denny Hamlin had the second most from the pole, leading 34. Denny Hamlin won Stage 1. Stage 2 was won by Kyle Busch, who led 17 laps on pit strategy and finished second. Margin of victory 2.9 seconds for Truex. You'll get to hear from him and the other top finishers from today's race in our post-race coverage. 2 hours, 40 minutes, and 10 seconds total time on this one. Quick race today with just the 2 cautions. 81.76 miles per hour was the average race speed. Is this the first time a cup race? This might be the shortest cup race of the season so far, honestly. There's been a couple of them less than 3 hours, but they've been like right more towards like that 2 hour, 50 minute mark. And I'm not counting the exhibition race. The All-Star race is less than 2 hours, but that was only 200 lap short track race. But I do think this is the shortest cup race of the season so far. Clean day, really, for the most part. And Truex dominates once again here at Sonoma. And he was 23 out of first. I think Truex has just jumped from 4th to 1st in the point standings. No guarantee on that, but I think he has. Still burning it down, by the way. That's why you're not getting your interview yet. This is a long burnout for Truex. He's done it multiple times around the racetrack. Every section there's major grandstand seating, I'd have to imagine. And we have hit 110 likes on the stream, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Diana Elvis, thanks for tuning in here late. I didn't shout you out earlier. And anybody else who I did not shout out in the late going, Bond1771. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry for the internet issues again for anybody who has stuck it out. I greatly appreciate it. We had them just twice during the race today, but they were during monumental portions of the race during green flag pit stops the last time and the pass for the lead between Hamlin and Truex early in the race as well. The Dominator, Martin Truex Jr. with the win, and here he is on the front stretch with Jamie Little.
Old-fashioned. What did Larson say the other day? That's an old-fashioned butt whooping right there. No mistakes. Did a great job. Lost some track position. Got right back up through them. Checked all the boxes today.
Jamie Little.
And Martin Truex Jr. climbs from his race car. They're waiting. They're holding the checkered flag for you over here, Martin. You grabbed that first. It was no secret last year, Joe Gibbs Racing was off when it came to road course racing. But you guys didn't give up, and you came back to stomp them today. A dominant performance. What did it take to get you back here, this team back here, to victory lane?
You know, Jamie, just a lot of hard work by everybody. Everybody at Toyota, TRD, everybody at JGR in the off-season to kind of redesign. You know, we got to do some work with NASCAR to redesign some stuff. Everybody did, and they did a good job there. But just hats off to my team, you know, James, Jazzy, all the guys, you know, to be so bad here last year and to come back and do that with the same car basically is it's really unbelievable. So just proud of them. You know, we're having a great year. I feel really good about our team. Bass Pro Shops, Toyota, TRD, Reacher's Fine Foods, Auto Owners, Toyota, Noble Aerospace, Rock, Flight Safety, Sherwin-Williams, Oakley. Got them all in this time. Last time I screwed up. But we couldn't do it without all of our partners, all of our fans. And, man, just feels incredible to have a day like that and a run like that, and a team like I have. They're doing everything right now, and it's a lot of fun to drive these cars. So thanks to them. I also got to give a shout out to my cousin Jeremy. He's in the hospital, a little banged up. Hopefully he's feeling a little better. Be out in a few days.
Martin, yesterday in qualifying, you said, I'm having fun. You had that big smile on your face. Second win this year. What's it like to have a car this good with a team that's just connecting the way it is?
That's why we do it, Jamie. This is why you go through years like we had last year, and you just keep fighting. You never give up on it. You always believe in each other. We haven't changed anything on our team other than parts and pieces, and it's just through a lot of hard work of a lot of people. So thanks to coach and everybody, and our pit crew's been really working hard. They did a great job today. So it takes a total team effort these days, as close as everything is with these cars, and you got to execute. We were able to do that today.
Martin Truex Jr. wins at Sonoma for the 4th time.
Well, Kyle Busch starts 12th today, finishes
Regan
second,
Smith with Kyle
but there
Busch.
was a lot of work that had to happen throughout the course of the weekend on this race car. Kyle, you guys did a nice job getting it tuned up. Great pit strategy and impressive second place day.
Yeah, not too bad, obviously. Just wish we had a little bit more. I tried there really hard at the end to at least try to keep Martin honest, and felt like I could beat him a little bit on a lap, and then I would mess up, and he'd beat me by a little more on the next lap, So we were just kind of trading a little bit there, but then he was able to pull away there late. But great job by all the guys on this McLaren Grills Camaro. Just proud of the effort. We gave it everything that we had. We made a lot of changes, as you said, and we got a lucky break there with a yellow with only 3 laps on tires, so we were able to kind of cycle to the front. And once we got up there, we could maintain pace with some of the good cars and have a good, top 3 speed race car, and just kind of flip-flop the race a little bit. So good fortunes for us, and nice to come out of here with a P2 after a win last week.
3 wins to this point in the season as we head into the off week, a first and a second the past 2 weeks. This team really stringing together some good runs. How close are you guys to be able to make a run towards Phoenix this year?
Yeah, I don't know if I want an off week. Let's go, right? We're rolling right now, but it'll be a good break for everybody just to kind of regroup and refocus and set in for the last 18 in a row, But all in all, just real proud of the guys and the communication and the way they're able to go to work and kind of work through some of our issues and try to improve on what I need to be able to feel in a race car to be able to put out finishes like that. So if we can keep doing those things, then we'll be a force.
Thanks, Kyle. Good job.
Thanks, Regan. Toyota wins, Chevy second, Ford third, and Jamie Little.
Alrighty. So we went through the full field finishing order. Average race speed, by the way, was 81.76 miles per hour. And we had a total of 6 different drivers who led at least 1 lap today. Most of those during green flag pit stop cycling, outside of Truex and Hamlin. And then, of course, Kyle Busch, who had the lead following a restart after staying out of the pits in the middle portion of the race. McDowell and Chastain led during green flag stops. Chase Elliott led 7 laps today on that last restart as well before Truex was able to get around him when he had older tires. Still ended up with a top 5 finish though, so good for him. And with those 6 different leaders, we had just, looks like 11 lead changes with the 6 different leaders. Again, 35 cars finished, 31 on the lead lap, and Hamlin the only driver that DNF'd in today's race. Fairly clean day, just the 2 cautions. Be sure to join the NASCAR Fantasy League on the mobile app or website. You can sign up. It is free to join. All you need is your email to sign up, and you do have to be a subscriber of this YouTube channel, so definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. But a chance to win 2 tickets to any NASCAR race if you're choosing. If you win the regular season or the playoff championship, those tickets would carry over the following year, so for 2024, and it's every race excluding the Daytona 500 for the NASCAR Cup Series that you would win those tickets for. So definitely want to play, and the playoffs do reset, so if you're not in the league right now wondering, well, I can't win the championship, you can win the championship, but you have to be in the league before the playoffs begin at Darlington in September. Might as well get adjusted with the league, know how it works, and start playing today. As far as my fantasy team went, I was able to get Reddick out of there. Luckily, I did. He wasn't running that well in the middle going into the race. He was actually my pick to win, and he just didn't seem to do quite as well. So, yeah, I ended up falling back. He was the least scoring driver on my team, or last scoring, because Hamlin did win stage 1, so even though he finished last, he still scored 2 more points than Reddick. So, good thing I had Reddick in my garage. I didn't miss out on any points there. And, I mean, they all had top 10s. McDowell finished 8th, Allmendinger 7th, Bell finished in 6th, and Chase Elliott ended up finishing 5th. Denny Hamlin, obviously last, won a stage at least. So he got some points. Not great, but solid day for the fantasy team, I'd say. I mean, if all four of the 5 drivers end up finishing in the top 8, I can't complain about much there. Would have been nice to have Truex on the team, though. The way he ran today was definitely the quickest car on track. I did pick him for my bonus point to beat Kevin Harvick, though, so got that. Had Reddick over Elliott because Reddick was my pick to win, but Chase Elliott obviously beat him with Reddick's late issue, too. Just wasn't as fast as Elliott, though, for most of the second half of this race anyway. Had Ty Gibbs over Austin Cindric. A lot of that was because Gibbs just started 6th and Cindric started deep in the field. Didn't think Cindric was going to be able to gain that much track position. I predicted before the race started 2 to 4 cautions. We had 2 cautions, so I knew the drivers that started very deep in the field were not going to be able to make their way forward. They weren't going to get many opportunities to try to pit under caution and adjust their race cars because we only ended up having 3 or 4 pit stops the entire race anyway. AJ Allmendinger ended up finishing better than Chastain, so got the bonus points there. So 30 bonus points. I usually don't do as good with the head-to-head for whatever reason, but felt very confident this week in the picks that I had. Not just on there, but I think... So I played 4 bets on a head-to-head, and I think I won every single... Or no, 3 of them. I had 3 bets on the head-to-head on FanDuel BetMGM. I won all of them. I had Gibbs beating Cindric, beat him by 7 spots. Bell beating Blaney. Blaney finished like 31st. Bell top 10. And then I had AJ Allmendinger also beating Austin Cindric. So I don't think FanDuel really knows what they're doing there because I think they had Cindric against Gibbs and Allmendinger because they're equal in caliber of road course racing. So I understand why they would do that. But after qualifying yesterday in practice, Cindric was like a 25th place car at best, and the other ones were top 10. So I don't know why they were like nearly even odds for that. So I felt like that was a steal, and I got the job done with that. Also had Allmendinger and McDowell to get a top 10, so I went 5 for 5 on the bets. Goes to show I'm not wrong with the predictions, so you definitely want to tune in a half hour before every NASCAR Cup race where I go through some predictions, some late betting advice, some predictions for who I think will run well and not run well today because we ran through the gauntlet. The only one I didn't have right really was Tyler Reddick, picking him to win the race today, and he didn't really show up. It's only the 3rd driver I've picked to win a race this season through the first 16 races that did not finish in the top 10, and only the 5th of the 16 races where that driver did not finish in the top 5. I think the other one was taking Bowman at Richmond where he finished 8th, and then got to think back to the other one. And then obviously the Larson-Darlington race, Larson-Dover, got taken out late, leading at Darlington by Chastain. Got taken out early after Chastain caused a wreck, spinning the 15 car of Brendan Poole out. Larson was just behind him. And there was another race I ended up picking early in the season, I do believe as well, where my pick did not get the win. It might have been Talladega. I can't remember who I picked for... I'll remember once I look at it, so I'm going to look at it real quick. But there was a 4th driver prior to today that I picked to win that didn't finish in the top 5. But they had a top 10, whatever race that was. Larson at Dirt Bristol, because he and Priest got into it. He came back, had a decent finish, but he didn't end up back in the front of the field there. Brian Zantop, thanks for tuning in. Memories and it was Dirt Bristol. What was that? It was like 3 months ago, so hey, I remembered it as well as I could. It's good when I don't put enough pressure on myself to remember things. That's when I start forgetting, because I tend to overthink things. Feels like 19 again with Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. at the front. Yeah, it does kind of feel like that a little bit. Just with the way the season's gone in general. We do have to go through my other predictions. Completely forgot about that. Actually, first, while we were on the Fantasy League, Dark Crypto wins this week by a lot, too. 241 points he scored. Not an Elliott fan finishes in second with 191. 50 points margin of victory. We usually don't see that many points separated between first and second, so congrats to Dark Crypto. He's going to make up a lot of points in the standings this week. I think he was 6th coming in, if I remember correctly. I ended up finishing 3rd with 189. Again, I had a good team, but Dark Crypto had an even better team. Inside Uranus with 187 points finishes 4th in the Plow. V3 finishes tied for 4th, in fact, with Inside Uranus at 187. I want to see who Dark Crypto had on his team. He had Chase Elliott, who finished 5th. Allmendinger finished 6th, as mentioned. He did have Truex, who won. Christopher Bell he had on his team, who finished 9th. And Michael McDowell finished 7th. So, yeah, he had everybody in the top 10. Had everybody in the top 9, it looked like. I didn't think Bell finished 9th. Oh, Larson passed him on the last lap. That's right. I mentioned that as it happened late when Truex was taking the checkered flag. Larson did pass Bell in turn 11 on the last lap for 8th place. But yeah, I'll take it. I'll take a 3rd place this week. The standings coming into the week, though, looked like this. Not an Elliott fan, who ended up finishing in 2nd. Only beating me by 2 points. Had 28.84. Was the current points leader inside Uranus, who finished a little bit behind him. Is going to lose a little bit of points, but it was pretty tight. Only 27 points separating them coming into the day. P-Chat Motorsports, not that far behind in 3rd. Unfortunately, did not have a top 5 finish today, so he's going to lose out on some points. I'm only going to lose 2 on Not an LA Fan, gain on Inside Uranus. So I'm still sitting okay in 4th with 26.97. And Dark Crypto, who's 5th coming into the day, not 6th. He was 5th, 25.67 back, but he's going to gain 50 points on Not an Elliott Fan, even more points by 2 more points on me, and a couple other points on Inside Uranus. So he's definitely going to move up to probably 3rd in the standings. He was, how many behind me was he? Oh, he was 130 back. He's still going to gain quite a few points. He needed that kind of a week. I was thinking he was only 30 back. He had 25.67, not 26.67. So, yeah, never mind. I guess I'm still going to more than likely stay in 4th. I don't think I outscored P-Chat by 100 points this week. Where'd he finish? 159, 13th. I only outscored him by 30, yeah. You just got to chip away. Just got to chip away. You're not going to get them all back in 1 week. I'll take it. I'll take a 3rd place. Yeah, NBC takes over the rest of the season. USA Network as well for the rest of the year for the Cup and the Xfinity Series. We do have to go over the actual race predictions. So we'll do that real quick. See how the must-haves, the don't-haves, and the sleeper picks all finished. I think it went 3 for 3 on the sleeper picks, though. I believe they all finished inside the top 10. We'll see exactly where they all finished. The leaderboard's not working. Might have to just look off of here. Yeah, I'll just look off of here. So Chris Buescher was one of the sleeper picks. He finishes in 4th. The other 2 sleeper picks finished 6th and 7th of AJ Allmendinger and Michael McDowell, with AJ in 6th and Michael in 7th. So 3 for 3 there. The must-have picks, 2 of them had issues late. Tyler Reddick, who was my pick to win, did restart in the top 10. Might have had a shot at a top 10 late, but ended up having a left front tire go down while running in 4th on that last restart. So that definitely hurt him. Ended up, as a result, finishing 33rd, correct? Yes, 33rd. And then Denny Hamlin finished last in 38th after wrecking. Had top 10 speed pretty much all day. And there was one more, which would have been Christopher Bell. He did get a top 10, finishing in 9th. So only 1 for 3 on the must-have picks, which I think coming into the year, you can see my record that I've been keeping track of all season. Predicted 6 Cup winners correctly, 3 Xfinity, 2 Truck. 32 and 17 coming into the week on must-haves. It's going to put me at 33 and 19. So still pretty solid on the year with guaranteeing top 10s for some drivers. The sleeper picks, I was actually 7 below 500, but this week going 3 for 3. I'm now 16 and 20, so I definitely chipped away there. And then the don't have list. Joey Logano did get a top 10 today with the flipping of the running order. He finishes 3rd. Logano's had a lot of good finishes this season because of late cautions and going off strategy. He hasn't had that much speed this year. but he has had good finishes because of strategy races like this. So that's where that crew chief comes in handy, and it has helped the 22 team out immensely because they haven't been getting a lot of stage points, but they're there at the end when it matters the most, and there he is. So not going to really cut it come playoff time. He may be an early exit, but it will help him maybe get more playoff points that will help as a cushion as a result. The other two don't have picks, though, did finish outside the top 10 and way outside the top 10 at that. Ryan Blaney 31st, and Austin Cindric ended up finishing at 25th. That was pretty much as good as Cindric ran all day, and Blaney was only in the top 5 late because of staying out of the pits during that last caution. I think prior to it, though, he was in the back half of the top 20, so really hadn't ran better than 27th, 28th all day on speed anyway. Had a speeding penalty early, which he might have been able to jump positions with the early pit stop when he did, because we saw a lot of other drivers gain like 5+ positions. It might have put him around 20th, but still that would have been about all he was on speed at best most of the day, and that's probably, maybe exaggerating a little, because I don't even think he had 20th place speed. Blaney has outpaced Logano on speed this year. Oh, yeah, easily. I mean, Blaney's the points leader for a reason. Joey Logano coming into the race today. We'll check out the point standings. Obviously, I can't check out the point standings after today's race, but coming into the race today, Ryan Blaney, 9 top 10s, 4 top 5s, a win, 2 stage wins. He led 319 laps, points leader with 495 points overall. Joey Logano is 12th in points coming into the race today. Logano just... He's not been good. He's not scoring in the stages. He does have 8 top 10s after today's race and another top 5, so 5 top 5s. So he has one more top 5 than Blaney. But a lot of these good finishes for Joey Logano are coming in races with a caution, kind of splitting the strategy when he was running outside the top 10 most of the day. I remember Phoenix was like that, where Logano was like 20th most of the day. There was a couple of other races. Gateway last week, it was just like that for Logano with a late caution when he wasn't really running that well before. So, yeah, 2 weeks in a row, he's lucked out with varying pit strategy. Got some other driver interviews to get out here before the end of this live stream. Here's Chase Elliott with Jamie Little.
We're trying to do something a little different with strategy, and we had pit about 6 or 8 laps there before that caution, and just felt like our only play was to stay out, and I was really hoping that more people would do that with us, where you had 3 or 4 rows, and probably still wouldn't have been enough, but I do think it would have been nicer, to have a couple more rows of a buffer before the tires got to us. But yeah, it was a good fight. Certainly had one of our better runs there the last couple, so always good to finish strong. And it wasn't an ideal situation, so to kind of fight through it there and get a top 5 is a good thing. So looking forward to trying to build on that and hopefully contend for a win here before long. So definitely closer today.
10 more races to try to make it into the playoffs.
AJ Allmendinger with Regan Smith also.
Yet again today, another fast race, 6th place finish, something that you can build on as we go into the off week.
Yeah, definitely. I thought we were anywhere from a 3rd to 5th place car. Gabriel Glass Chevy was really good short run speed. The fire off speed, we had a lot of speed. I just built too loose, and then in traffic it just get worse and worse. So we got put back there a little bit in traffic, but fought back. Still need a little bit, but we're making gains on it. It's good momentum for the off week.
Thanks, AJ.
All these guys talking about the off week,
And yeah, again, off week, next week, NASCAR Xfinity, Cup, Truck, no racing, so no live commentary for next week. Tune in the following week, though, when all 3 series go to Nashville for the Truck, Xfinity, followed by the Cup. I believe Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I don't think they're doing a doubleheader on Saturday at the Truck and Xfinity, so I believe it's a Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night for all those races when that comes about. Have a good Father's Day next weekend, any of the dads out there. I will see you guys hopefully sooner rather than later during the week. It just depends based off of streaming with moving and getting a new car recently. Still trying to make sure I have enough money when I go to Chicago, needing a new laptop in the meantime. So that's the reason for the streams. We've been having the stream cut out a couple times, in and out. Maybe that's some of the issue with the internet, but I think it was mainly because of the weather. Where I'm at today might have affected the internet issues, because we weren't really having issues with the internet since I moved here for about a month. So, yeah, hopefully we'll have better weather for Nashville in a couple weeks. But appreciate it, everybody. I'll see you guys next time. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. We hit 115 likes today. Our goal is 150, but we had the 2 internet issues, so it is what it is there. But, yeah, thanks, and I will see you guys next time.